Well. Welcome back to Pedro DoorDash Santiago, Mr.BetonYou Sunday live show, weekly show. I hope you are doing great. I'm doing fantastic. The vibes are high. It's been a great week. It's been a great month. Um, I have a lot to go over tonight. Special guests. The live stream will be open at some point. The StreamYard link will be shared for other special guests to come in if you feel the need. I have a lot of things on my mind. A lot's happened in the last couple of weeks. I think tonight's show is going to be very good. Very excited. First, if we can get a thumbs up in the chat, make sure you guys can hear and see me okay. Make sure the audio's good, the video's good. And I'm going to give some shout outs before I start rambling. Y'all know me. When I get going, I get going. Also, hit the thumbs up, share this content. Scooter Bud's always one of the first to do that. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you very much. So let me give some shout outs first. I see Lazarus in the house. I saw Dasher Benz. I saw Jennifer, Crystal. Give all the shout outs to all the first timers coming in, or the people coming in right from the jump. TN, I see you. I see Michael. Roland Rued, what up? You sound better than you did Friday. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't feeling like, I didn't feel sick on Friday, but my throat just wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely feel way better. Thank you very much for thinking about that and reminding me. Jennifer, Crystal, Ryan. I see Jeff. What up, Jeff? Dasher Benz once again. Pinstar. I see Ryan. Kualaha. Hello. Got the bracelet on, dear. Appreciate it. All right, listen. Today, I'm going to break down what we got going on. I'm going to talk about my week. For those of you that might have missed some of the videos, I'm going to talk about the topics, the 3 featured channels. We will have Hannibal is Hungry, my man, coming in about 30 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. We're going to talk about a video he made. We're going to talk about a topic that has mixed opinions. And, you know, we like mixed opinions on this show. All opinions are welcome. We want that, right? Because I think when we have people that have varying opinions, we can spark good conversations and we can learn from one another, right? And I think that I am not 100% sure how I feel about the mandatory tipping. I don't know. I have some hot takes on it, though. I think me and Hannibal and I are going to agree on some stuff. And I think there's a couple things I want to ask him about to see if I could garner his perspective. So really excited to having him on the show and talking about that. I also want to talk about, I'm going to address some of the drivers, Dasher specifically, or really anybody that works the gig economy, but I do mostly DoorDash in the last month, right? The drivers that are struggling out there, I have a kind of a message for you guys and something for you to think about. The second topic, which is escaping me as I'm sitting here, let me pull it up real quick for you guys. What has the negative content gotten us? Are we any better now versus a year or 2 ago? So I came into this YouTube space and full-time DoorDash. I've been doing full-time DoorDash or full-time gig work for almost exactly 2 years to the day. Okay. And I came in doing content creation. About 5 weeks from now, I dropped my first video. So it's almost pretty much 2 years. What have we gotten for? I have a lot of negative videos, so I put myself in here. I am not exempt. But all the negativity, the doomsday stuff, the DoorDash sucks, the Uber sucks, the Instacart's the worst, the CEOs are horrible. All this content that's negative, what has it gotten us? Has anything improved? I'll say this. I think by making it, it does allow us to feel better about situations. So if I make a video like, man, DoorDash is horrible. This company sucks. They're hiding tips. They're doing this. Uber is trash. The base pay got lowered. Instacart sucks. You know, they lowered the pay. They got triple batches. On and on and on. Uber rideshare is horrible. They don't care about driver safety. I think it's that relatability can be helpful in the moment to fellow drivers because it makes us feel like not alone. I don't feel like I'm crazy when I hear somebody else talk about something that's bad. So I think there's value in that. But after that moment and after that video's out and it's been a couple months, a year or two, are we in a better spot as gig drivers, as independent contractors, as side hustlers? Are we in a better spot? I say no. I think we're in a worse spot long term. That's why I've been talking about why is everything so negative? And that's why I'm trying to have a positive spin on things. And I'm trying to come up with solutions. I'm trying to show you guys real numbers. I'm trying to be a little more measured and a little more forward thinking versus having that old petty Pedro always come out and I'm mad about this and mad about that. I can't control everything. You can't control everything, but you can control your emotions and you can control how you move. So those are some of the things we're going to talk about this week. Okay. What up, Light? What up, Welty? What up, Benjamin? What up, AP? What up, Ryan? What up, China? What up, DDIS? I see everybody in the house. I appreciate y'all, Jennifer, Benjamin, AP. Appreciate y'all very, very, very much. So that's what we got going on tonight. I do want to also talk about the 3 featured channels that we have, because it's been a couple weeks since I've done that, and I want to bring that back. So the 3 featured channels this week, and anybody that has a wrench, please put these links in, the channel pages in, so you guys can check these channels out. The first one is the Destin Driver. Okay, the Destin Driver. Destin, like in the place in Florida. Me and him I think I'm going to be coming on his show soon. It's kind of a newer channel. Got on my radar a couple weeks ago. Go check him out. Hustlin' Hyena. Hustlin' Hyena. Hyena. Hustlin' Hyena. And Gig Hustler. Gig Hustler's been in here a few times. He's out in Chicago, and I was born in Chicago. I rep Chicago. I love St. Louis, but Chicago's where my blood's at, right? Got a lot of family over there still. Love Chi-Town, right? West Side, Humble Park. Shout out to Gig Hustler. Big baller out there. He's in the LOP. He shows you big payouts. He shows you how to hustle. So Gig Hustler, Hustlin' Hyena, and Dasher, the Destin Driver are the 3 featured channels this week. And I'll give you guys another 3 next week. Now, hit the thumbs up so we can get some peeps in here. Appreciate you guys for coming in. Appreciate you ending the week with me and starting a new week. Now, I'm going to talk about my week this week a little bit. I'm going to talk about the things that I've seen in the comment section, the questions. I'm going to address a few things in a positive way. I'm not going to I got a hood on. I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm not going to be a jerk. I could do that, but I'm not, because I'm trying to be more positive. Now, I posted for me. Okay. We made, I think, $60 on Uber this week. Most of my earnings was with DoorDash. I didn't work on Thursday at all. 0. And I put all the information out for you guys. You guys, I did not work out on Thursday at all. I didn't work today. I didn't work Saturday. Thought about working yesterday a little bit, and I said, nah, I'm good. For the week, we made $970. $912 of that was DoorDash. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. And I worked 4 days. It's pretty good. My acceptance rate right now is 53%. I'm in a diamond zone. I am not saying when I make these videos that I think acceptance rate matters. I need you to do this. I need you to take trash. Get your acceptance rate up. I have never once said that in one video. Not one time. Not once. And if I did, somebody pull it up and snippet it and you can send it to me. But what I'm doing is I'm sharing you my opinion and my results in my zone, right? It's been a long time since I've made that amount of money with DoorDash alone. In a diamond zone, I think, this is my opinion, and I think, and I'm also seeing, I'm seeing offers, $20, $30, full payouts. Never seen that before. And I have 7,300 deliveries on DoorDash. DoorDash has changed. I'm not telling you what to do. I am simply in 2023 showing you what I'm doing with DoorDash, because not everybody, 99% of the channels that I see, and there might be some other ones out there I'm not aware of, DoorDash is the worst. DoorDash sucks. It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. You can't make money. You can't make money. That might be true in your area. That might be true in their experience. But I think DoorDash has changed. I've adapted, and my opinion on it is not that right now. That doesn't mean in February or March or April, maybe DoorDash isn't as good in my area. But I've dashed for 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks since I've took the 1 week off from the vacation. My results have been pretty good. I've done earned by time. You guys have seen that. Had good results. I've done earned by order the last 2 weeks. You guys have seen that. Pretty good results. I think my results are pretty considerably above average what a normal person would make with DoorDash and DoorDash alone. Now, I will say this. I think multi-apping is still the way to go, because you're casting a wider net to catch more fish. I do believe that. When you only have one app or two app, you're fishing basically with one pole, and it might be a really good one, but if you multi-app, you're casting out a net and you're able to scoop up more, right? But for me, I don't need to make all my income. like most of you, I realize I don't need to make all my income with DoorDash. So I can go out and test some things and give you guys actual tangible receipts and results. And that's what I've been doing in January. So anybody that feels like I'm saying do that, I haven't told one person, hey, you should do this. I'm telling you, this is what I am saying. And do what you think would work for you. Because most people are saying DoorDash is the worst. I can't make money. But I think that they haven't adapted and realized that the algorithm has changed. I do believe that it has changed. It has changed, right? And my numbers don't lie, and I've shown you guys that. And I'm happy with my results, right? And if you're getting your results, however you're getting them, if you're happy, awesome. But I am hearing from most Dashers specifically, they're not happy with their results. So what do we do to change that? What do we do to adapt? Do we just get rid of DoorDash altogether and try something else? Do we try to come back to it and see some things? That's what we're trying to do here. So appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the shield talk. Some of you guys think I sold out. DoorDash, once again, is not paying me. I have no paid partnership. Okay. I have no problem saying that because it is my truth, right? And I would not lie to you guys because if it came out that I did, my channel would be absolutely nuked and it would be gone. So if you think that DoorDash is paying me, keep thinking that. I hope you sleep well at night when your head hits the pillow, but they're not. So my week's been good. Made good money. I hit my goals. I hope you guys hit your goals. And if you haven't hit your goals, you either need to adapt or you're going to die. I'm trying to give you a hard truth about what's going on out here. If you think you can work most of these apps, but DoorDash specifically, the same way you did a year ago or 2 years ago, you're fooling yourself. You have to understand the things, a lot of us like to call ourselves business owners. A lot of us say we're independent contractors, right? Well, in business, or if you are an independent contractor, which we are technically, you have to evolve and change with the cost of running your business, right? Things cost more, things cost less. You have to adapt. There's competition. There's this, there's that. There's different ways of marketing. You can't market and brand your business the way you did in 2020, as you might have to do in 2023. We should look at the apps no different. When things change and your market change, whether it becomes oversaturated, whether it's the algorithm has changed, whether what they're showing you changed, if they've shifted things, whether we like it or not, we can sit in our car and cry like Pedro used to do last year and the year before and whine and act like a little baby and cry. Ooh, I can't make money. Oh, no tip, no trip. I'm not doing that anymore. It's time to level up. It's time to man up. And it's time to adapt. Will you come with me, or are you going to stay in those? Are you going to stay in your, or are you going to sit in your car and you're going to cry about it? Or are you going to figure it out? Only you can answer that question. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. I'm feeling really positive. This year's been off to a great start for me. And I don't think that that's a coincidence. I came into this knowing right at about October, the beginning of November, I knew exactly how I was going to hit 2023. I knew I was taking this vacation. I needed a week off. I knew the things that I was going to be doing, the steps I was going to be taking. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I've been mentally preparing myself for several months to look at how I do the gig economy, the type of videos I'm going to make. This isn't just like January 1, I woke up. I had this in my brain, and I am seeing I'm seeing better results. I'm feeling better. Things around me are good. I need you guys to come along for that ride. There's a lot of other content creators out here that are way better than me, better looking, better spoken. They've been out here. They speak better. They look better. Their editing's better, right? And then there are also some that are really bad, super negative, just spewing all the negativity. That could be entertaining, but it's not sustainable. It's not scalable, and it's not going to serve you any good. It's pacifying you. It's basically saying, hey, I know it sucks right now. Here's a pacifier, and I'm going to give you a pacifier. Too many content creators are doing that. They're giving you a pacifier, and you suck on it. It makes you feel good, but then eventually you want something else. And they're basically putting a Band-Aid on a wound that you have. How long will that Band-Aid last? Not long. How long will that pacifier feel good? Not that long. On this channel, I'm trying to give you guys solutions, motivations, and a different way to look at these apps. Because like I've been saying since my first video, bet on you, set goals one day at a time. Use the apps as a stepping stone, because 99% of us won't be able to do it long term. And many of you guys are showing me that you're actually looking at that and thinking about other things, and you've moved on. And that's absolutely great. So continue to watch the other people that are handing you pacifiers. I'm trying to sit you down and talk with you so that you don't need that pacifier in a couple of months. I hope that makes sense. Appreciate everybody building. Let's give some shout outs. I see Troy. What up, Southern Gig? Hannibal is hungry in the house. Kualaha. Hello. Gigaholic Rex. Appreciate y'all. I just had to get that on my brain. Clark Bridges. Heather. Nova Dasher in the house, I think. Welty, Brian. Appreciate y'all. What up, Troy? What up, Benjamin? Okay, Mr. Gigwork. I also want to announce the winner of the giveaway we did with Solo. Some of you guys might have remembered we did this. Some of you guys might not. I'm going to pull up something for you guys. So, boom. There we go. I do have a partnership and a deal, a relationship, a really great one with Solo right there. I have no problem saying that. Okay. So we did a $500 giveaway. Anybody that signed up for Solo in the month of January was going to win $500. Your name was entered. So Nina, Solo representative that I work with from Solo, shout out to Nina if you're watching this, put in, like she put on, she got all the people that signed up and she sent me 2 names, one winner and one alternate in case we don't hear from this winner. Now, I emailed this winner. I'm going to announce the name right now. And I believe they got back to me. Shout out to the super chat. Thank you. And I will be sharing that email now. I'll be sharing that name now, not their email. Appreciate you, Lazarus. Let me read that. Love the positivity. But does this mean Sin City Deliveries was right about the Top Dasher? No, because Top Dasher, the conversation me and him had was about Top Dasher, and I think he was actually wrong about that because Top Dasher is not what it was. Top Dasher is not what it was when we had that conversation. I do want to have him back on. I'll reach out to him eventually soon. But no, I don't think. I do think what he was right about was, well, I don't want to say this because we don't have enough data yet. But the conversation we had about Top Dasher, I don't think he was right about that. But I do think there were some things that he was leading on to that I think there is some merit there. Based on my opinion, I'm not saying that's fact. Should be fighting for the 70% AR. Yeah, I'm not going to 70%. I'm not. I'm at 53. But we could talk about that. I think I'm going to have him on. I think he'll definitely come on at some point. But great comment. Appreciate you. Appreciate the super chat, the $5. So let me announce this winner. So the winner of the Solo giveaway was Muhammad M. from Los Angeles, California. I emailed him. He emailed me back. I think I'm going to try to see if he'd like to do a little video recording or something and me just congratulating him. If Muhammad, if you're here tonight, let me know in the chat if you guys see him. Somebody let me know, or so that maybe we can bring him on even tonight. So that was the winner for our Solo giveaway, Muhammad M. from Los Angeles. Or it said LA. I think it could be Louisiana, or it was LA. She said LA. LA was a state. So maybe that's Louisiana. I don't know. I think it's Louisiana, actually. Yeah, I have to double check. But I have his email. I've corresponded with him. He got back with me. So congratulations, Muhammad M. Now, let me go ahead and get back to 1 second. And there's so many comments. Oh, I do want to read a couple. Pedro, what is your AR? 53. I want to say in the comments with you guys just for a little bit. Congrats, Muhammad. Yes. Let me put that up. Congrats, Muhammad. Okay, so that was my week. That's the winner right there. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that signed up. Solo did launch in 6 additional cities, so you can check out some shorts and some content that I did for that. You guys are going to be seeing a lot of Solo content on various channels because Solo is partnered with certain YouTube content creators to get the word out on the app. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I've talked about it enough. You guys know what that's all about. So I'm not going to make this a Solo plug completely, but I wanted to share with you guys the results of that particular contest. So let's see. Yeah, you know what, Roland Red? Let me put this comment up. This is what I've noticed. I've noticed when it's been above 50 and 60% is about the 60s is what I've been averaging. The one thing I've noticed, I've seen really bad ones. I've seen really good ones. I've shown my viewers that. But the one thing I've noticed is I've seen larger payouts, like significantly larger, even when it just hits my phone, like $20 payouts, $30 payouts. It's showing me that initially. I've never seen that in my DoorDash life before. Now, that's not to say that it's because of the percentage, but I don't know if it's a coincidence. I've never seen $28 Deerberg shopping pays. I've never seen pizza orders for $30 initially. Now, I'm part of the pizza program. I am not a Top Dasher, and I'm not part of the large order program, or some would say the catering program. I am in a diamond zone, and I've kept it above 50 because I was part of the acceptance rate reset. Then my acceptance went down and went up. I'm not taking trash. I'm not taking trash to get it above 50. I've just been able to take orders that make sense to me, and it hasn't fallen below 50%. And I wanted it to 2 weeks ago. I wanted it to fall below to see what it would send me, but I've been getting enough good ones to where it hasn't fallen below 50%. I hope that makes sense. But listen, my average order on DoorDash is up $3.50 from just 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So my average order usually was about $8. Right now it's $11.50. It's a huge difference. That's a huge $3.50 difference per order is significant. And that's my results, right? So I don't know, man. I've been contemplating if I should tank it on purpose. Like if I should turn on my app one day, like on a Saturday, I almost did it yesterday, and just decline like 50 orders in a row. Get it down to, let's say, 20% and then go out on a Monday, right? And then see what I feel like I need to do that for you guys to give you some more information. And I think I'm going to have to, right? Because everything I'm saying is just my opinion. And I'm showing people every order that I get so you guys can see it through the videos. So yeah, it's been interesting, but my results are good. They're out there on YouTube to show $30 an hour. Like that's not bad, right? But I'm not part of the LOP either. So I think when I see people say, well, Pedro, acceptance rate doesn't matter, I think there's truth to that. But typically when I see somebody that says that their acceptance rate could be 5%, but they're part of the large order program, so they're going to get big bangers. I'm not, right? So I have to use what I can use to my disposal, if that makes sense. All right. What happened to the live orders? What up, Brandon? You talking about the ones I do late at night? I might do one of those tonight. I'm not sure. What up, Edward? What up, Robert? Appreciate all y'all for being in here. So, okay, let me see. I'm going to. Yep. Okay. I'm a proud bottom dasher. Listen, let me talk about Southern Gig right now. This is my guy. Congratulations on 1K subscribers, Bobby Southern Gig. I would say, so Bobby's somebody that does a lot of Spark. He does Uber Rideshare, and I believe he does some DoorDash, right? I'll say this. I think, and I would put a challenge out there. And it's hard to say definitively because we're in different markets, right? It's a much smaller market than me. I bet if we went out tomorrow and we worked DoorDash and DoorDash only, I'd make significantly more money than him if he only did DoorDash and I only did DoorDash. So I think the reason Bobby might be in this year, this is my opinion, making less money, and I'm not sure if he's on the LOP, I think he might be, is because his acceptance rate's lower. If he's up for that challenge, I'll challenge him $100 right now, Bobby, in front of 268 people. If we work tomorrow, I bet you and we only do DoorDash, I think I'll make more money than you. What do you say to the challenge? He might be up for it. We'll see. I'm not saying I know what I'm talking about. That's my opinion right now. Appreciate everybody for being here. Hit the thumbs up. But Bobby's also a really good multi-apper, makes great money in his market, but he has to use multiple apps to do it. I showed you guys I used one app this week and I made good money, right? So I'm just showing you guys different ways because I see everybody's complaining about DoorDash. I'm trying to give you guys actual numbers versus me crying like everybody else. All everybody's going to do on YouTube is DoorDash sucks. They're the worst. And then they wake up the next day and they work for a company that sucks. It makes no logical sense to me, right? Me, I'm trying to be a little more measured and say, let me just see what's really going on out here. Let me give the people some actual numbers versus me having an opinion without having facts to back it up. I hope that makes sense. I actually follow Gator, not just sub and run. Let me see what Bobby said. He says, oh, just DoorDash Pedro will beat me 100. Why do you think that is? Well, it could be because his market. Anyways, me and Bobby can talk off camera about that. But I'm definitely willing to try some things with my account, guys, because I think I want to give you guys actual results and information versus just my opinion, which is mostly what I gave you guys before. And sometimes I was right and sometimes I was wrong. I want to deal in facts in 2023. All right, what time is it? 9:24. So we're going to bring in Hannibal Sungry whenever he's ready. I think he's probably standing by. As soon as he comes in, we're going to have this talk about mandatory tipping. So Hannibal made a video. There's been some reaction videos to it. What do you guys think about mandatory tipping? I'm going to give you my thoughts even before Hannibal comes up. And when you hear mandatory tipping, what does that spark in you, right? Some people think, well, you can't call it a tip. It should be called a bid. Some people say, well, you just got to add it on as it's another fee. And some people say, well, customers won't want to order. So DoorDash would never do that because they'll lose some market share. They'll lose some dollars. That could be true, right? But would it be good or bad for DoorDash drivers if there was a mandatory tip? The same way there is a service fee or a small business fee, a convenience fee. There's regulatory customers are fee, fi, fo, fum, right? Do you think that this would be a good thing? Do you think it could be bad? Let's say they set the mandatory tip at 10% or 15%. In some cases, you might lose money, right? In some cases, you'll make more because all the non-tippers then would have to tip. And, those $2, $3 orders might turn into $5, $6, $7 orders, and maybe it's worth your time. Some would say orders would be done quicker and everything would probably be taken. Acceptance rates would be higher, right? But the flip side of that is, how would that affect the consumer? It takes away the spending power. It takes away their some would say maybe rights. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong word. It takes away their ability to make a decision, which is bad. We're all consumers here, right? So you think about certain places when you go out to eat, and a lot of us have probably been to a restaurant where there was a mandatory tip if the party was 8 or more. And most consumers don't complain about that. Oh, it's part of it. It's a big party, blah, blah, blah. Most customers are conditioned now. You go to like an Applebee's or a Fridays, automatic 15 or 18%, which is kind of the standard of parties at 8 or more, 6 or more. Some restaurants, if it's late at night, like Waffle House, there's a place, Pancake's House, Uncle Bill's here. After, I believe, midnight, every ticket has a tip on it. Every ticket, like 15, 18%. Because I don't know why they did it, but they did it. And some people don't like it and they don't go. Some people just get used to it. So is this a good or bad thing? Right now, I think drivers would make less money. Some might make more money in the interim, but overall, it could be a bad look for the brand and it could push consumers away. So anyways, I'm going to bring Hannibal Osungir in because I think he can explain some of this even better, right? We're going to talk about this in just a moment here as I get set up here. All right. If you don't know who Hannibal Osungir is, you're definitely missing out in the gig economy. So definitely somebody put a link to his channel. If you know me, you probably know him, but maybe there's a couple of y'all that don't know. We're going to introduce you to him right now. So let's bring Hannibal Osungir up. The man, the myth, the legend. My man, Hannibal. What's up, man?
What's going on, Pedro? Thank you for inviting me on, man. Really appreciate it.
It's been a while since we've, me and Hannibal talk basically every day. We have a podcast, blah, blah, blah. Some of y'all know that, but I wanted to bring you on for this because of the video you dropped. Some of the other things I've seen comments in various videos, people bringing them in my videos. And I think it's an interesting thing because as I mentioned before, there are other sectors of the service industry that have these mandatory tips, right?
Yeah.
And I think some consumers are just kind of like used to it now. But when we talk about it in the delivery game, it's such a wild, different idea. I think it scares some people. And it's like, okay, this would be bad. But is it bad? So I wanted to kind of get your additional thoughts on that. And if you can just kind of talk about what sparked you for making that video.
Well, I mean, that's been something that's been around a lot of the community. Some people saying that it would be a good idea to add a mandatory tip to these orders. And one of the issues is, as you explained it, it's still a new thing, even though food delivery has been around for a few years, of the whole idea of pre-tipping, right?
Yeah.
Of having a tip before you get the service that you think you're hoping is going to be a positive experience, and you're betting on that. And I think that is still a struggle for most customers. You check any TikTok or any kind of check your short where you kind of blew up talking about tipping. They're like, I don't want to tip before I even get the service. So we're still struggling with that. So the idea of putting in a mandatory tip, and I said this in the video, and I think most people actually do agree, apart from some response videos from, I think, DoorDash sucks. And also, shout out to Dashing Trader. He had a response video, but his account has been hacked. Hopefully he gets it back in order. Just thinking about him because
you know what, I'm actually glad you mentioned that because I want to say this before me and Hannibal get going because I know him and I are going to have a good convo here. I talked to Dashing Trader. He wanted me to mention this, so I'm speaking on his behalf. Okay, I talked to him yesterday, and Dashing Trader got hacked, and he wanted me to share this with you guys. And Trader, if you're watching, let us know in the chat. So basically, he wanted me to share this because he wants other content creators to protect themselves. So when you're a content creator, you get emails with certain sponsorship deals. Some of them are legit. Some of them might not be legit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he got hacked by a company called Ripple. So if you look at his page, it says Ripple versus Dashing Trader, but his videos are still there. And Ripple's been known for doing this to other content creators, right? and he thought it was an affiliate deal, and they basically got access. He clicked the link, they got access to his page, his YouTube page. So
Wow.
it's like called phishing, I think some people would call it, right?
Yeah, that's the hacking
Right.
term.
The
Yeah.
hacking term. So if you're a content creator, or if you're not, and you get emails, if something doesn't seem right, if it seems fishy, don't click on links. Okay. Do some homework before, do some research, ask to talk to them on a phone call first. You know what I'm saying? Do some due diligence, because that happened to Dash and Trader. And he
Yeah.
wanted me to let you guys know that he's going to be all right. He's trying to get his account back. If anything, he learned something. You know, he wanted me to share this with you guys, because I know a lot of you guys watch his channel as well. So I appreciate you mentioning that, because I had almost
Yeah,
forgot.
definitely
So
shout out to him, and hopefully he gets it back on. And that's the thing too about how the economy is going. You're going to see so many different variations of scams out there.
Yeah.
Not just content creators, everyday people are getting scammed. Phone calls, emails, something that looks very official, something that looks legit. And it is a scary situation. Like right now, even like you're talking about as a content creator, I get tons of emails. I don't really respond to too many of them unless it's explicit. Like I know the person personally, because you just never know if they're looking to try to take over something, either your bank account or whatever. So yeah, hopefully he gets it back in order. But going back to the mandatory tipping, it is another fee. I know we can call it mandatory tipping, and you know there's some legal issues that may even be involved with that, but it is another fee, and I understand why most or the drivers who want it, right? Because no one should look at a phone and see $2.75, or I think I saw someone post even a smaller base pay for Uber Eats. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I understand that. But the problem is that us drivers, I think each segment, the customers, the drivers, the merchants, we kind of only think of ourselves, right? We get stuck in this echo chamber of what is it? I need to get the most out of this deal. But the problem is it's a symbiotic relationship between all these factors. Now, if you look at giving another fee to the customers, of course, the first app that does this, that's the app people are not going to use, because they have all three and they check the prices of all three apps. They say, okay,
I remember didn't you put a community post up a couple weeks talking about that?
Yes, that's why I made the video. Yeah,
that'd be the first app that would kind of suffer, right? It's kind of how people would boycott them or whatever.
That app will be trending. People would complain. Us drivers would probably counter back with, "This is what you guys need to pay." They're saying, "Go find another job." So it'll be that kind of thing. I was just thinking about Netflix, right? Netflix was going to crack down on password sharing, and people were flipping out over, and that's what, $10-15 a month, and they were like wanted them not to worry about password sharing, because people, as we all kind of not spend our money responsibly, but we're also cheap and complain if we have to pay an extra fee for things. That's how because like you said earlier, we're all consumers, and we're always trying to find ways not to spend more money than we think we have to. Yeah. So I just think that mandatory tipping, and I think that I know they probably have thought about this, but they know if we put this in, it's going to piss a lot of the customers off.
Yeah, I think it would. Do you think that in the short term, customers would maybe go away from the apps, right? Like DoorDash. Let's use DoorDash because they're the big bully, right? They're the biggest market share. It's the one we all like to talk about. You think they would lose some consumers? The benefit could be, some drivers might make some more money in the short term, because those $2, $3, $4 orders would be a little bit more. So some orders might be delivered quicker. DoorDashers maybe making some good money, but in some cases, maybe you're making less. Maybe they set the bar at 10 or 15%. And the customer that has $100 order, instead of them tipping 20 like they did last week, now they only got to tip 10. And most customers aren't going to add an extra tip. They go by what the computer says and what the app says, right? Most aren't going in and adding a lot more most of the time, right?
Yeah.
But I think that in the interim, it could be like that, consumers might walk away from that app, dashers might make more money, but in the long term, does that mean less market share for the apps? But let me ask you this. I think most customers, I know times are tough right now. We have inflation, recession, whatever word we want to throw out, but it's happening to a lot of people
losing jobs.
People losing jobs. Like it's in front of us. We see it from tech companies to your local grocery stores, whatever. Like people are losing jobs, or they are struggling, right? The cost of eggs is up, the cost of this, the cost of that. We've all seen the stories. But I think most consumers, when they're ordering DoorDash or Uber or Instacart or Grubhub, I think they're so blinded like by the fees. Like they don't even, some see it, but it's like such like a, I just want it. So I just wonder your opinion. What percentage do you think would say, okay, you know what? No, I do not want this Chipotle bowl. Now they want to charge me an extra $3. Last week, this fee wasn't there. I'm not going to order it. Do you think most people wouldn't, or do you think most people would still just go with the order?
It will depend on where you live, as everything. I know that's a cop-out answer, but like I would say, for instance, if you are delivering in Manhattan, they will probably pay the extra $2-3 or whatever it is, extra 20%. But if you are really, not to say down bad, but if you are really worried about how much money you have, and if you don't have, you're not in a certain kind of economic bracket, you're lower income, that extra 20% may be the limit. These companies already stretched this as far as they can, and kind of going, and also when the reason why I talked about that topic is to really blame the companies. I know drivers and customers go back and forth, but it's really the company and their business model. This is how they construct it. So let's go back to Uber, right? Uber is big company. A lot of these companies follow. DoorDash follows Uber and how they did things. So this is how it all started. It's kind of a winner takes all approach. The business, Uber, raised billions of dollars. They've been, whenever they came out, 2010, billions and billions of dollars. They took the billions and said, we need to dominate the market share. How do we do that? Okay. What they do is they created an artificial price, making it very cheap for customers to get on Uber, then have pay drivers really good amounts of money. Because every time I talk to any OG driver, they say, back in the day, I was making
$500 a day or something. Yeah.
And they weren't lying. They were making that money. But that was subsidized. That was subsidized by investor capital. That was billions of dollars that was put in so Uber can take over the market share. Mm-hmm. And then once that happens, prices go up, drivers' pay go down. Same thing with DoorDash. When DoorDash came out, a lot of people were saying I was doing pretty well. Pandemic is probably like the height of at least earnings for me in terms of DoorDash.
Clearly, right? I think for most drivers, absolutely. Yeah. Then
DoorDash has market share. All right, bring the fees up and lower the driver pay. That's the business model that these companies are exuding. And now, since they're competing, Uber has money, tons of money. DoorDash, they're fighting, and they're just going. I guess the race to the bottom is happening. So we could try to get more money out of the customer, but I don't think that's going to work either. And do I know the answer? I don't, in terms of how this is going to work that benefits all the parties involved. Right now, it's just investors. That's better. Oh, be honest, there's the CEOs and executives who are laughing to the bank compared to everybody else.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think it's easy. And I've done this, and a lot of us have done it, but I do it too often, right? Is we want to fight the consumer. We say, no tip, no trip. You're a clown. You got to tip me. We get angry at the consumer, but we also have to, and there's nothing wrong with that situationally, but we have to look at, should that, and a lot of comment and a lot of videos that I've been having in the last couple of weeks, they're saying, why are you directing your anger at me? I'm getting charged this. Talk to your employer or talk to your boss. And they're not. That's part of the issue is that they're not, they're not our boss. We're not a W-2. We can't go to an HR office and say, we want more, right? That's why some people are like, oh, well, we need unions. We need striking. And I don't think we need that either. So we're in this like gray area of like, who do we talk to about getting paid, right? So when I hear like the mandatory tipping, I think, man, are there benefits to it? Because I feel, like you said, in some markets, customers will be like, I still need it because it's a convenience thing. Like right. I'm in the app, I'm just going to order it. But then some would say, no, okay, this has gotten out of hand. I'm not doing it. And then they'll maybe not order, and then they'll just start packing a lunch or picking it up themselves, whatever, right? So I think that in the short term, there could be like a benefit to some drivers. But in the long term, it's like it could hurt because it could push consumers away. We need people ordering food. That's how we make money, Right.
And that's the way the business model. Excuse me. Yeah. That's the way the business model is set up. They want as much people ordering as possible. Like I have a video coming out tomorrow talking about how food delivery is no longer a luxury. I'm sure I'm gonna get beat up on that video as well.
I can't wait to see that. I saw that I'm like, I'm waiting to, because when you drop videos like that, I'm always like, this is gonna be good.
So it's like, this is ridiculous. But the reason why, and a little bit of that is because of how the companies conduct their business. As you talked about, EBT, SNAP is being introduced into the platforms. People who have EBT and SNAP probably can't afford luxury items, right? Low income. But they're not looking at it as a luxury. They're only looking at it as a convenience. Now, you should get paid fairly, obviously. Like, you should pay good dollar for convenience. But they're not looking at it as a luxury. They're looking at it as, we want to deliver to everyone as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And that's why they use us, gig workers, the sharing economy, to get that done. And any business that is conducive to be successful by an optional tipping system is a flawed system. So it's not a anti-driver, anti-customer. It's really the criticism of the business is what I spend a lot of my time talking about.
Yeah, I get that. Let me ask you this question. So we see that, like, when I open up my app, I actually opened it up today because I was going to order something, and I wound up just picking it up myself for different reasons, not because of the fees. Yeah. But when I opened up DoorDash first. I wound up looking at Uber as well. I wanted to see which one was cheaper, like you mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah.
That's what smart
people shop. Do, right? People shop. Yeah, they look at the apps. Yeah.
Yeah, I got coupons. I'm going to use that. It's expensive out here, right? Yeah. So I went in there, and like the delivery fee for one of the places was like $3.99, right? And another place was like $5.99. One was free. One was $6.99. They have different deals, right, based on whatever factors, right? Yeah. So what would you say to, instead of using the word tip, a lot of people talk about the word bid, put a bid in to get your food, which, there's different varying opinions on that. I know you've heard that lingo before, right?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
But instead of having it say anything about a tip in the app, because all the apps do say tip, right? They use that word. It's going to your driver. 100% of the tips go to drivers. They use that. And most consumers understand what that means, right? But let's say instead of doing a mandatory tip, instead of the delivery fee being $3.99, or instead of it being $0, like I said, right? It just upped the delivery fee. And then the company, and this is where it gets weird because we have to trust them, right? They would have to just pay us more in that way. So instead of the base pay being $2.25, let's say it would go up to $5 on DoorDash, right? And more of these orders might be more favorable for drivers to be profitable. So if they just up the fee for the consumer and don't even have anything about a tip at all, what would you say to that? Do you think consumers would then still look at it the same because the tip word isn't being used, and they just feel like, okay, well, it's just more of a fee, but they're not making me tip, or they're not suggesting it? Do you think that might make them feel better? Or worse?
The words matter. Words matter. So like tipping is been used as an optional thing for as long as we all been alive, right? So if the delivery fee was more, that would make more sense. But the thing is that the money needs to go to the driver. And, DoorDash has been in trouble for this by not providing all of the tips or trying to be slick and shady. And if they were able to increase the delivery fee and make sure that all that money went to the driver, or at least a bigger part of that goes to the driver, where the base is $5, as I remember a lot of people talking about how the base was $5, that would make more sense. I know that there's other platforms like Instacart where if you finish your order, you can pay extra fee to, it gets there a little quicker. But does that fee goes to the driver? I don't know.
Uber and DoorDash do the same thing.
Yeah,
Uber has like a priority. For a priority on Uber, it's $1.99. So basically, if I guess it's like, okay, they're not going to stack it, or if they do stack it, I'll get first delivery, but it costs $1.99. But who knows if that goes to the driver or not?
And that's the problem too, where they're going to charge the customer more, but we're not even confident, and these companies are not transparent enough to let us know, hey, is this all going to go back to the driver? And that's where we're having this issue as well. It's a layered, complex issue. I think it would just be as so simple as, well, they just got to pay more. That would have been already implemented already, right? Like it's a balance of what's going on.
Right. And they're not going to pay more. They're not going to, most companies aren't going to go from a $7 base pay to a $5 to a $3 when I started to a $2.25 and then go back to $5. Like, I just think that's wishful thinking. We have to understand these companies are telling us, and I don't know, I'm not smart enough to understand it, that they're not making money. Right. So if they're saying they're not being profitable and they're bleeding money and they're, the CEOs are selling shares of stock and they're doing this and they're doing that and the IPOs go down and Instacart's value goes down, how do we expect them to pay us more? Right. So we have, and then that's why we're looking at the consumer like, hey, I just can't take these $2 and $3 orders
because no one should. And that's the thing. No one should take those orders. So we're not saying to take them. What we're saying is there's more of a nuanced reason of why things are the way they are. So it's not as simple as, well, just got to pay more. When they implement more fees, they know how many customers are not going to play ball. They have a good idea. If we increase it by this much, you could look at it when you order and say, wow, like I've ordered from Instacart and I went through the groceries and how expensive groceries are. And I looked at the bill before I pressed enter and I realized, I guess I don't need those cookies. All right, let me take those cookies. I'm gonna take out this frozen dinner. I'll cook. You know what I mean? Like we do that because we don't want to spend our money, foolishly, but at the same time, the drivers still need to be paid accurate. You need to get paid fairly. And I think we can look at it. Uber, going back to Uber, how Uber rideshare drivers are dealing with this. It gets lower and lower. Is either you're in a market that you can make money or you can't. And nothing is really changed. They keep implementing certain things, trip radar, this, that, and the third. And it's still not enough. People are still upset. So if you look at DoorDash and their future, just look at what Uber is doing right now. They've been around since 2010, I believe. So you kind of see the future of where is it going?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I feel like the rideshare drivers have really been fighting this fight a lot longer and harder than food delivery. Would you say that's accurate? Like
they've been there. They've been in the game longer. I remember taking Ubers, before I even really did my driving for myself. And you talk to an Uber driver, they would complain. And that was before any of this stuff that was happening, pandemic, stuff like that, years and years ago, where they were not happy with where the direction of Uber was going.
I want to read this comment. So Taquim Hilton said they should raise the base pay based on seniority and reliable drivers. Do you think that if you've been a driver that has X amount of deliveries or X amount of years that you should be paid more than somebody that just turned on the app?
I do like that idea as I'm reading it right now. The only thing, it just feels very employee-ish to me. It's kind of like you've been in the company for a while and you deserve a raise.
Yeah.
But if it was able to figure that out in a way that's again transparent, like I don't see a problem with that idea. I do believe that the longer you've put in the game, good orders should, at least the orders should come to you if you've been doing this for a while and you just didn't jump on it. But you've noticed, I'm sure you've noticed, you've been in the game for a while. When you first join an app, they take care of you. They bless you. They give you a lot of good orders to sucker you in.
Do you believe that? Do you really believe that?
Well, at least in my experience.
In your experience. See, I think I've heard that a lot, and I think that there's truth there. But then I can only talk about my experience and what I've seen with my eyes, right?
Yeah.
Madison did DoorDash a couple months ago. She tried it out for like a week and a half. She was brand new. They sent her trash and good stuff. She was making less money on average when she was out than I was. And I was seasoned. So it's like, I don't know if they treat a new account. I could see why they would. Because for me, I think they have to, it's this balance. It's a weird balance because you want senior drivers should get some kind of priority. Like they've been out here hustling, delivering your orders for you. You got to take care of them, right?
Yeah.
But like you talked about, that could be like a W-2. Like, do you take care of the cook that's been there 20 years better than the one that's been there 2 weeks? You should. That's like that's a W-2 mindset.
It feels yeah.
It does. Because to your point, if you don't take care of a new driver coming in, you discourage them. If you send them all the trash and give all the good orders to the OGs, the new driver might not come back. And you want the new driver because you can actually probably manipulate them a little bit better.
Yeah, the turnover is really high.
Turnover is really high. So I think it's a weird thing.
For my experience with DoorDash, when I first joined, they gave me that Top Dasher thing, and I did not earn it. So that kind of tells me they really wanted me to enjoy my experience. And plus, it was still during the pandemic, and they needed drivers out there. So they really made sure that I was taken care of by giving me something that I didn't earn, right? Like, how can you become a Top Dasher without going through what a Top Dasher is supposed to come through? Mm-hmm. It was like, no, you're in New York City, you're in Brooklyn, we need you out there. Have at it. And then you enjoy it. And in your mind, at least in my mind, I was thinking, man, I don't have to do anything ever again in my life. I'll just be a DoorDash driver. I was doing pretty well. And then after like maybe like in a month, you're like, oh, it's just like Uber Eats. It's got good days and some bad days. So I do believe they do take care of you in the beginning as you jump these platforms.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question about the video that you made, I believe this morning, or was it yesterday, about your reaction to the TikTok.
Yeah. That was today.
So can you kind of just share with us the story of the video he made and what you think about that and your message to drivers?
Yeah, so I had a video. It was uploaded at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was responding to a TikTok. This dude took a $2.75 order for McDonald's, and he dropped it off at a location. The customer said, I put the wrong address. He says, go walk in and get yourself because I'm not doing this anymore. He was really upset. He had a whole story about it. It's like, these are nice houses here, and this is all you gave me was this much money. But the beginning of the story is where he should have stopped. As I said, why did you take an order that was $2.75? Like, you played yourself. Yeah. Like DJ Khaled, like, you played yourself. Like,
what do you expect? What do you expect? Like,
you looked at this. You are operating your own business. You looked at a terrible offer, a terrible business deal. You said, all right, I'll take it. Like, why? That was your bad. Like, it was my store. My analogies where you have brand new sneakers on. You see dog poop outside the street. You looked at the poop. You're walking and you stepped intentionally in the poop, and then you got mad.
Yeah,
I can't believe it. This smells. My sneakers are ruined. Like, that's you. That's all on you. Like, you see these offers, and if you are in an area where the offers are like that, then that's when it's time to find something else to do. But that was just my and that could have been him just doing a story for his TikTok. He seems like a really animated storyteller. I actually thought the story was kind of cool. But
I've seen some of his other stuff. I've seen some of his other stuff, a few things, and it's like he's good on camera. He's got a good personality.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
It's entertaining, and I think what we have to realize is this is entertainment. Some of these guys are being truthful. Some of them are just giving you some content because you want to be entertained, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's just interesting because I've done it. I've taken orders that are trash, not knowing it, or maybe it's part of a stack, and then I find myself on my car like, God damn, they didn't. This person's and I talk about it. So like, it's like this weird thing. We have this like love-hate relationship with our customers,
Yeah.
And it's like the rush, and I think DoorDash plays on that. All the apps do. It's the rush of like, oh, I got this banger. $30, and they hide the tip. It goes from $9 to $37. I had one of those this week, and it's like it's a rush. It's like that dopamine of like, wow, that was great. It's awesome. And then an hour later, you're delivering a $3 order, right? And you're like, why did I just do that? And you can only be mad at yourself, like Hannibal's saying.
That's what it is. You have to be responsible of what you do, and because you're not an employee. Like he said, he had his regular W-2 job, and he decided to do some DoorDash. Those are two different mindsets you have there. An employee, it's more of a rigid, structured thing where you're going to have to deal with some uncomfortable situations and some people that come in. Let's like say if you're a front desk receptionist, any person comes in there, you got to deal with it. That's your job, right? Unless they do something completely crazy or illegal.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about what we do, we can pick and choose who to work with. Yeah. And that's what we need to understand. And I understand that the apps are not giving us a lot to work with, right? Yeah. They're giving us crap, but you can't accept the crap. And if it's too much, then you need to find something else, or at least another app to use.
Yeah. I want to get your raw opinion. And me and Hannibal haven't talked about this. I'm going to ask him a question. I want his opinion on it. Do you think DoorDash is prioritizing accounts based on acceptance rate in 2023? Do you think there's any validity to that, or do you think it's coincidence?
I think there's some valid points there. But there's also evidence that they're not. Right. Shout out to the Gig Geezer. Mm-hmm. He's letting me know. Like he puts community posts. He's talking about it don't matter to him. He has his at 2% or something like that. And I understand if you're a true independent contractor, it's an insult that our acceptance rate is even mattering.
Facts. Yeah.
And OGs, I think the ones who are really knocking this out, where they're like, hey, if the game is changing, and I think so. I think DoorDash and a lot of these, they're changing to make you take more bad offers.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
That the OGs are like, well, I'm gonna go and download different apps. I'm gonna try Curry. I'm gonna try Deliver That. I'm gonna try other apps where you can deliver more valuable packages and loads where you can get paid more money for what you're doing, or even investing in cargo vans and really setting up a real business. Because if that's the game they're playing, and I'm a true independent contractor, I'm not playing that game. And I totally understand that. So you have to look at the app, you got to look at that app, you got to look at the platform, look at your market, and decide, am I going to continue this because this is the game they're going to set up, or not? But it's still all an individual decision. So do I think it's going to matter? Yeah, because they got to get these orders out. They got to get these EBT orders, these SNAP orders.
Yeah.
They're not going to have tons of tips on these orders, guys. Like, they're not. So how do they do it? Well, if we persuade you to have your acceptance rate over 50%, most likely those orders are going to get delivered.
Yeah, great point. I definitely think that. And this is, we've talked about this, you know, and all the other 1,000 channels have talked about this. But I think the truest thing for me, in my opinion, is like, we have these people that have opinions, whether content creators in the comments, you guys in the live chat. Well, I don't think this, maybe this. My experience has been this. This is my opinion. AR matters. AR doesn't matter. We see a mixed bag of it. But like, at the end of the day, the one thing for me that I just keep coming back to, we've talked about it 1,000 times. It's cliche. Listen, Hannibal's market is Brooklyn. Okay. I live in St. Louis. Gig Geezer is he? I think he's Texas or somewhere, right?
Damn. It's,
no, he's in
I
the
think
Carolinas.
North Carolina. Yeah,
North
North Carolina. Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Geezer. He's going to wind up being on the show here soon.
Yeah,
probably
cool
maybe next
dude.
week or the week after. I think in a couple weeks he's going to be coming on, because I like his. He's an OG in this space, and he's forward thinking, and he's got solutions to things. So we're going to have him on. So I'm glad you mentioned him. But anyway, so I think that your market is going to dictate how you have to move, right? Yeah. So somebody like myself saying, hey guys, this is my experience. Okay, I'm trying some things. I'm seeing success. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because your market in North Carolina might be, your saturation levels might be very different. Your median household income could be different. Are you rural versus urban like mine? Are you in Brooklyn where, like, you know, the traffic's crazy, you know, like you're better off suited having a scooter or an e-bike, you know? So like, we have to remember that you're responsible for deciding what's going to work for you and what app hits, right? And I've showed my audience, hey, okay, I worked 4 days this week. You made $960. I mean, I think for most of us would probably be happy with that result.
Not bad at all. Yeah, that's a pretty good situation.
That's one app, right? If I would have worked today and yesterday and Thursday, I would have made $1,500 with DoorDash. That's not bad, right? But that doesn't mean that you're going to do that, right? So what is the app for you in your market that's going to hit, you know? And I think we have to keep coming to that versus like, well, okay, I figured out what it is. You got to do, because it's not going to work for everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think where you are is a very unique situation. Like you said, I think you've have that privilege of being in a major city, but it's not a big city.
Yeah.
And like, when I visit your hometown for the gig conference, and I'm like, I can hear crickets chirping. I can see some stars.
Remember you said that when
I was like, I feel like I'm in the burbs, in the boonies, but I'm in a major city. Like, you don't hear no crickets. You in Brooklyn, you hear, ambulances and gunshots, but you don't hear crickets, right? Traffic, crazy here, but your traffic is pretty reasonable. Like, you can work 11 hours and not get stuck in something. Like, you probably have some rush hour stuff, but nothing compared to where I live, where you're able to navigate. And also you have an area where there's enough valuable offers being sent to you.
Right.
That's just where you live, right? And if another person may have a completely different experience, and it doesn't mean, it really depends on where you land. And it is as simple as that sometimes.
Yeah. And that's why we gotta, we have to keep realizing, you got to figure out, what are people willing to pay to do in your market, and what can you, because I think even in 2023 with these, inflation and recession, it's going to be hard for a lot of people. People still want convenience. Convenience is something that people still value, right?
Yes.
They just do. And there's still going to be people that have some disposable income to like Hannibal, he's going to order Instacart. He might have to take the cookies out the cart, but he's still going to use that because
Which
he
is
wants to use
it's probably a good idea for weight issues. You know, you gotta keep it lean, order the essentials because I gotta get my eggs. You know, that's like $15 or whatever the price is. So I gotta make sure you're good to go with that. But yeah, and also you want to try the apps that do business to business deliveries. You know, your Currys, your VHOs, there's so many of those other apps that dealing with a business to business, they usually will pay you more than business to customer. Business to customer is relying on tips, but if you do business to business, you find those apps. And again, I'm not telling anyone to do this. I mean, investing in a cargo van is a tremendous investment.
That's a big investment. Yeah.
But and I'm bringing more people to talk to on my channel who have done this and seeing their experience where, you know, because with going back with the gig geezer, the reason why he came to the conclusion of having a van, he was talking to someone who had it, but he realized there's a ceiling to the amount of money you can make with these apps. There's a cap, right? You only one person, certain amount of hours. What can you do to elevate, to make more money? Well, one, and if you still want to do courier work, well, investing in a cargo van where you can take heavier items and transport them, that's where you can make more money. So it's more of, like you said, leveling up. But that's a strategy that anyone can use. Just find what's the level up for works for you.
Yeah. I think that makes complete sense. You know, I can't wait to have a convo with him about that and a little bit more. But so let me ask you, as an Instacart, I want to bring it back in conclusion to the mandatory tipping thing. Yeah. If Instacart tomorrow, if let's say you order some groceries, and I know you tip because you've talked about it, but if there was a mandatory tip on there, would that? I feel like for you, it wouldn't stop you from ordering because you are somebody that tips, but would you be taken back by that? Would it pause you to be like, hold up, do I want to do business with Instacart because they're telling me I have to tip? How would you look at that if you open? Well,
I wouldn't like if they said a tip is, let's say the mandatory tip is 15%. Like they'll try to, you know, I tip 20. So if I just ordered, I'm paying less money. And then I'm feeling, well, I guess I did my job. I got the tip through. Now I probably irritate my wife. She's like, why should, you know, because we didn't have the best experiences with every Instacart shopper. So also now it's like, I'm paying more. The experience better be to a certain level. And it's not. I'm sorry, guys. Like again, maybe just my luck. You have a good shopper and then you have one that's not communicating, putting raw and raw food with cooked stuff, dumping everything in one bag.
So you've had some bad experiences.
Yeah.
Like, really?
But if I usually do 20, 22% and now it's 15, I'm like, all right.
Well, you're saving money.
I'm saving money. And that's the thing too. Like if you're a big tipper, but if the tip is already there, so now your big tippers may not tip as much because they think they did their job. They're like, well, I tipped you. I'm tipping what the app tells me to do. Yeah. So you eliminate a little bit of that flexibility. So I don't know, like I don't think it will work, but I know some people do, but I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like, shout out to Trash Media, Rideshare Hustler, formerly known as Rideshare Hustler.
Yeah. Big fan of him.
Yeah. So I think I see that, you know, but I don't know. I think if let's say it happened tomorrow, let's just, you know, it's not going to, but it happens tomorrow on DoorDash and Instacart and Uber and Grubhub and whatever. It's mandatory. It's there. It says, you know, mandatory tip for placing this order. Boom. I think in a few months, let's say 6 months to a year, I think consumers would just be like, okay, well, it is what it is. And I don't think it would change that much as far as how consumers would decide to use that app or not. You know, you mentioned the Netflix thing, right? Like I have Netflix. I know the price increase. I think I pay maybe $16 or something like that. I got the plan where you can have like 3 or 4 devices. I think it's $16.99, right?
I'm borrowing some.
Yeah, and it used to be when I got it, it used to be $9.99. And I think I know a couple people have my password, and that's why you can have 4 devices, so it's not an issue. Yeah. But I've been hearing that Netflix is stopping that, right? So a lot of people have backlash, right?
Yeah.
I think people will not use Netflix, but I also feel that people eventually will get over it. And they'll just still have Netflix because there's a certain show they might want. So they'll just bite the bullet and say, you know what? I don't like Netflix, but I feel like I need it. So I'm just going to cave in. And I think most consumers would be like, hey, I don't like that DoorDash is doing this, but I want my Chipotle bowl. You know what I'm saying?
I guess the biggest obstacle for one company to decide to do that is what their competition is going to do, because they're still trying to do a winner takes all. So DoorDash would love to have Uber get out of Uber Eats and grow. Like they would love that. because I'll just give them maximum control of the market share. So for it to work, to me, to work effectively, all of them have to do it at the same time. Like they'll have to kind of come together. Like, listen, let's all put to a point where there is a different app that's saying, "Oh, you have to tip around here if you don't want to." That would make sense to me. But yeah, of course, people do get used to certain fees. It'll be the big backlash. Are they willing to take that big backlash? Are they willing to take the negative press when they make you have a mandatory tip, but you're having DoorDashers, and not all of them, but the problem is they love covering the negative stories of a Dasher doing something wrong.
We do as content creators. We like talking about it too. You know,
yeah,
we're all guilty of
doing something wrong, and then they could point, well, why I'm paying more for this because of that. So if a company's strong enough to kind of go through that, then eventually, behaviors of the consumers may change. I just don't see how that's going to work though. So,
shout out to Bud Soda. I don't know what's going on with Bud Soda, but everybody knows who Bud Soda is. Everybody give a little praying hands emojis. I think Bud Soda's having some car maintenance issues, maybe.
Yeah, tell me about it, bro. Yeah, it's the toughest thing.
Yeah, well,
toughest thing, right?
Me too. So, yeah, I think it's interesting because like I think we're so like we talk about certain things that could happen, and it's fun to talk about it, but who knows? You know, I think the best thing is we just got to go make your money, and if the orders look good for you, take them. But like, don't take the trash and then expect it to be good. Like most of the time, if you're gonna take a $2-3 order, the outcome's not gonna be great. It's not gonna make you feel good, right? So I know we want mandatory tips, but like it's not gonna happen because, like Hannibal's saying, like the first company that does that, people will be like, DoorDash is doing. I might go to Uber, and then DoorDash is going to see some kind of kickback and some kind of negative result at some point, even if it's they only lose 5%. That's a big. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I would love to know, in terms of income, which app more well-to-do people are on. That would kind of make sense. Of well, they are already tipping, or they wouldn't mind putting the extra amount of money in. But a lot of I don't know. I think when a lot of the orders being put out are fast food orders, where they're not used to tipping at all. They're having issues even pre-tipping.
Yeah.
Adding another fee, I don't see why would they consider staying on.
My opinion on that, I've never worked at Grubhub, but I feel like if we're talking Grubhub, Uber, and DoorDash, I think Grubhub has a little bit more of the bougie, the rich people, whatever. And then I think it's Uber Eats, and then I think it's DoorDash.
I definitely think, if Uber Eats definitely DoorDash is the bottom.
I think it's at the bottom, but I think that's also why they have the largest market share, because there are more places, so
exactly
they have more of a consumer pool to choose from. And when you have that, you're obviously going to have a larger number of maybe people that don't have a high income. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's just a numbers game, but who really knows? Hannibal, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, man. It was I didn't know it was another hour and 7 minutes, as we always do. We talk a lot.
Listen, that's how we do it. I do want to ask you. I got one more question.
Sure.
This is NBA related. Listen, I know we're going to talk about it tomorrow.
We don't have to bring this up right now. I'm still recovering. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. I'll say real quick. Yeah. I think Kyrie Irving was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. I think he's going to stay in Dallas long term. I think he didn't like the owner, and we can talk more about this tomorrow. I think he probably did not like how the owner handled that situation. And Mark Cuban is a better owner, and I think
probably the best owner in all.
Loyal. He would, Mark Cuban, he wouldn't have let that happen the way it happened in Kyrie in Brooklyn. Do I think there's a championship in Met? No.
We'll talk tomorrow.
We'll talk more about this, but I appreciate you bringing it up, man. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later, brother.
Later, man.
All right, my man Hannibal is hungry. My number one. It's my guy right there. So if you don't know who Hannibal is, please go check him out. Great content, great perspective. Yeah. So mandatory tipping, man. I'm still a little bit torn. I feel like drivers would make less money actually overall. I do believe that, because I think it would depend on obviously what that percentage is, or maybe they make about the same. Who knows? But I think when you force something upon somebody, it's usually not a good thing, right? It's usually not a good thing. But shout out to all the consumers out there. Listen, we're drivers bringing you something for your convenience, for whatever. You're hungry, you're tired, you had a long day, you got to feed the kids, you're at work, blah, blah, blah. Throw a little love and appreciation to your driver, the person that's ordering it for you sometimes, driving it to you, handling it for you. I know some DoorDash drivers specifically aren't great, right? They might put that order in the wrong spot at the door. They might not follow instructions, but go into it positively, right? If there's a suggested tip on there, know that that's going to somebody that's wanting to do a service for you. Don't back the tip out. So I'm being nice, right? I'm being nice. All right. So appreciate you guys for watching. Hit that thumbs up. I'm thinking about we're gonna maybe share the live stream and get some people's opinions on these topics. Mandatory tipping, negative content creation. Where has it gotten us? Are we in a better spot now than we were 2 years ago when I started? All the negative stuff, the DoorDash is the worst. I would love for somebody to come in and talk about that, even if you're a fellow content creator. We have all these negative videos. You can't do this, blah, 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 blah. Let's have some solutions. Like, are we in a better spot now than we were 2 years ago? I don't think we are. I don't. I think we've been fed pacifiers. I think I've been giving you guys pacifiers sometimes. Shame on me for doing that. I'm putting myself in that group, guys. And I know it's entertaining. I know that it's relatable. I know, there's value in that. There is, because we can share in the empathy. We can share in the frustration. I hear you. I get it. I think there is some value there. But are we in a better spot than we were 2 years ago? So those are some topics. I'm going to share the StreamYard link with you guys right now. And we're going to see who wants to have that conversation. So if you've never been on the show, please feel free. Don't be shy. Go ahead and come in. I'm going to share this link with you guys. Shout out to my man Hannibal once again. Appreciate you for coming on, man. Appreciate you taking the time on Sunday night to bless us with those lessons, my man. All right, so let me go ahead and share this with you guys here. And for anybody that's late coming in, we did announce a solo winner, the $500 giveaway. That was Mohammed M. from L.A., Los Angeles. No, not Los Angeles. I think it's Louisiana. He did reach out to me, so we'll be getting that to him this week. So shout out to Mohammed. He was a winner. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to share this link, and I'm going to pin it for anybody that wants to come in. Man, here we go. 1 second, guys. And while I allow some time for that to happen, I'll read some comments about what you think about the conversation that Hannibal and I just had. So it is, hold on. It is pinned at the top of the comment section. The StreamYard link is available. So let's go. It's actually easier for me to read on my phone because of the light. Okay. Drivermon says, I want to join, but I'm eating ribs. Yeah, don't join if you're eating ribs. Enjoy those ribs. What up, Top Queen? Trash Media, one day I'll have the courage to jump on. Hey, you do your own lives. You got no problem jumping on here, man. Lazarus, thanks for the 5, my friend. Change of subject. I'm 53. What was your favorite PS1 game? I love Resident Evil. Never had a PS1. I had a PS2. Never a PS1. I played, I think one of the Grand Theft Auto games was kind of a game I played. And then I played like some of the football games. I had a Sega Genesis. I liked the Sonic, and I liked the football game on Sega. That's most of the game. I wasn't a big gamer, so if that helps. But I had a PS1, not a PS2. Base pay should be the subject, not mandatory tips. Okay. What up, Real Talk with Roy? Somebody buy Bud Soda. Gas can. Final Fantasy. Never played Final Fantasy. Though that should foot the bill, not the customer. What up, Tom? How you doing? Got to go fast. What up, there, David Shen? NBA 2K. Okay. So I'm going to allow some people to come in. Keep hitting that thumbs up for your boy. I don't know how many thumbs up we got, but let's get up to at least 100, guys. So I see the Driven Dad. I see the Matrix. I see Dasher Benz. I see Gigaholic Rex. I see all the usual suspects lined up in front of me. I'll give you guys a few minutes. I'm going to read a few more comments. Appreciate you guys for stopping in. Pedro, why do you encourage taking $9 order for 5 or 6 miles? Tech Walla, why do I encourage? I encourage people making money and doing things that work for you. I've had good results this week, and I have taken some $9 orders going 5 or 6 miles because it's worked for me. Also, I would say not all miles are created equal. 5 or 6 miles on a road that has a lot of stop signs and stoplights is not the same as a 6 mile order, and 4.5 of those miles are highway. So I hope that answers your question. Pedro sent you an email. Jeff, I'll have to check that. I wasn't in my emails today until I got here. Trash media, hey, next week for sure, man. I lost a wife to video games. That's actually kind of sad. Light, you should come on the show one week. That would be fun. Palm Diggs, appreciate the 5. Thank you. Uberlift Phoenix, what up, Aaron? How you doing? Okay. I don't know what I'm here to support. Pedro, LOL, F DoorDash is my opinion. Okay, cool. Hey, feel however you want to feel for DoorDash. I will say this. I think if you're somebody that is working a gig economy app like DoorDash, I'll just use DoorDash because we like to talk about DoorDash. If you think the app is that bad, if it's that horrible, if it's that evil, if the company's that bad, why do you still turn on the app? Is it just because, I use it as an opportunity, I make some money? Hey, I can respect that, right? But I also look at it like this. For anybody that has a W-2 out there, if your W-2 was treating you that poorly, would you stay? And I know it's hard to relate the two because W-2, you have a lot more, it's different types of work, right? If DoorDash is that bad, try something else, right? Don't waste your time. Don't give DoorDash your energy, right? Try a different app. Try a different way of making money. There's a lot of opportunities out here right now. Don't feel like DoorDash has to be your only one or one of your main ones or one of your 8. Try some other stuff. You might be surprised at your results. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in the panel. I want to get their opinion on the mandatory tips. This is what I'm going to do before you guys come in. I'm going to give everybody about a minute and a half. Let me know what you think about mandatory tipping. If you want another minute and a half to talk about the negative content, the negative feelings, what have we gone in the last 2 years? Are we better off? Are we in a better spot or not? If you want to bring that up, you can. But I want to talk about those 2 topics. So if you have something else on your mind, you can come back later or for another week. But I want to talk about mandatory tips and negativity in the gig world. Should we still be doing that? Are we better off or worse off? Oh, I got a lot more people in here. Hold on. Who else? I see Ryan, Edgar, and Jessica. Okay. So if you've never been on the show before, you do have to show your face, unfortunately, because I don't want somebody coming in here acting crazy. So first, I'm going to bring in the Driven Dad, Matrix, Dasher Benz, Gigaholic Rex, and Bud Soda. So, gentlemen, get ready. So I see Tony, the Driven Dad. We have the Matrix. We have Dasher Benz. We have Gigaholic Rex, and the man, the myth, the legend. He needs no introduction. Bud Soda, Mr. Stack and Route in the building. How are you guys doing?
Hey Pedro, how are you doing? How's everybody?
I'm good. I want to start with the Driven Dad if he is ready to talk about the topics. And now, how you doing, Tony?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
So what's on your mind about the mandatory tips?
Mandatory tips. I hate it.
Tell me why.
Me personally, from my perspective, when I get a gratuity, onto my ticket, when I'm with a big party, it's like a slap in my face because they're expecting that I would just tip them only 18%. When I never tip that low. And that's before I started doing DoorDash and Uber as well. So that's just my opinion. It's like gonna make the people who tip well just tip minimum at that point.
Tip minimum, yeah.
But overall, it's kind of like the way DoorDash used to be, where we had like $7 base pay, and then they would supplement your tip with base pay. If the tip was higher than $2, then they would take that $2 away from the base pay. It's kind of a tip pull situation, maybe, kind of. But basically, it would raise the level of how much you're getting paid for every order. And, people would adjust to their minimum that they would take, basically. It would create the same problem, just on a different
You're kind
level.
of saying, let's say Pedro's minimum was $5, and now I would just up my minimum to $7, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. The Matrix, what do you think? Mandatory tipping, good or bad idea?
I think it might be a good idea.
Okay.
What I've suggested many times before, if I had Tony like on my couch, like with my arm around him, take that suggested tip from 350 and just move it to 450. And it would make an incredible difference in the number of orders that would get picked up. It's not a mandatory tip, it's the suggested tip. And that's the problem in my market. DoorDash, every order, if it's $20 order, an $80 order, the suggested tip from DoorDash has that little circle filled in at 350. If they just move that over to 450, just $1, so many more orders would get picked up. And I don't think it's a mandatory thing. I mean, I know what you're talking about. I worked in restaurants for 20 years. I know that gratuity, if you have a party of 8, 10, 12, you add that 15 to 18% on. I don't think that's necessarily the answer. Just move up the suggested tip. And I'm telling you, Pedro, I think 90% of the people would not notice. What Hannibal was talking about earlier, fees have gone up and up and up over like 2 years. People don't care. They still want their Taco Bell. They still want their McDonald's. They still want the order. They just press, enter, finish order, whatever it is. If it's just this arbitrary extra dollar or extra $2, it's not a mandatory tip. It's the suggested tip. I think on DoorDash would make a massive difference for drivers, even if it went to maybe 550. No matter what the order total was, if it just moved up, I think a majority of the customers wouldn't even look at it. They would just hit order, like confirm order, delivery, whatever. They wouldn't even notice it. I mean, these fees now are like $15, $18, $22 per order. What's an extra dollar? They're not going to notice, I don't think. So I would err on the side of not a mandatory tip,
but just upping the suggestion is what you're saying.
Yes, just up that suggested tip, and I think it would change the entire game for drivers.
That's another way to look at it for sure. Yeah. Dasher Bench, what's your opinion, thoughts, mandatory tip, good or bad thing for drivers?
Neither. Stupid idea.
Okay. So tell me more. Tell me more.
All right. I want to go back to, I'm interested what's going to be in Mr. Hannibal's upcoming video on whether DoorDash is a luxury service or not. Going back to the video you made last month, raising that question. In my view, I think you could see it as a luxury service if you're getting good service. On a cruise ship, like you went on, I know those employees are 10-star. They've been trained. Oh yeah. They have. I can trust them. I assume because you're paying $1,000 for the cruise anyway. The fanciest I've ever eaten is Cheesecake Factory. But I would say if you're receiving, I don't even know why we're even having this conversation when there's people in this chat who don't use your hot bags. You know who you are. But if your food is getting left in a tree or something like that, that to me is not a luxury service. Like Hannibal said, I think it was in his video that sparked this. There are drivers who don't deserve a tip.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Somebody's giving crap service. I want them to run their car into the ground. I want their business to fail. But my thing, what really makes me cringe about this is people who suggest mandatory tipping. It sounds like they're not even thinking like what would actually happen if that were to happen. Let's say DoorDash did it. I do think it would chase a lot of customers away. And I think they would move on to Uber Eats, where they would eventually learn how to tip bait.
Could be.
With because DoorDash has the market share, so they've got the wider demographic. So including I really think if DoorDash customers could tip bait, they would, a lot of them. Last thing we need is their customer base going over to Uber Eats. I would say even if the idea of mandatory tipping did work, it would have to happen on all the platforms at once.
Right.
And my other issue is who decides the minimum. I don't think the whole debate seeing the community for the couple of years I have, the the debate wouldn't go away. It would just turn into, okay, now the mandatory tip is not enough because the
Yeah.
$4 orders for 10 miles is still going to be $4 for 10 miles.
And that goes to what Driven Dad was saying, right? We would just, as drivers, adapt our minimum, and then really nothing would be solved, because then some orders would still not be delivered, right? Because we're just making more money, but we're still wanting to do the same type of work. So I think that's interesting. Let me get to
Hey, I just want to real quick say I gotta drop out of here, but thanks for inviting me on, Pedro.
Oh, anytime. Thank you.
I'll be listening.
Sounds good. Have a good night. So let me get to Gigaholic Rex, mandatory tipping. Give me your thoughts on this.
I don't think it should be done. I think it will drive off some customers. What I would like to see, and it's kind of controversial, I would think. We know the people who don't tip, right? There's consistently customers on these platforms who are never going to tip, right? What if they went through, the algorithms are learning which customers are tipping and which customers are not? Those who never tip, throw the bone to default them to a mandatory tip. Those customers who always are tipping, don't set a default. Let them tip how they're normally going to tip. Now, that's going to drive probably all of the people who don't tip away. But does that hurt us? A lot of us are not making money on all those orders where these people are ordering and not tipping anything, right? Those sit out there. We get bad ratings. We get contract violations. It's a thing that makes us all put up negative stuff, right? Yeah, why is that guy not tipping on it? No, DoorDash should raise the base. There's no dispute there. But the only dispute I would say is they're not making money either, right? None of these companies' business model, as Hannibal said, is making money. They're all trying to operate like Amazon in the early days, right? The fastest one to there, last one standing, and then they'll jack the prices up 10 times more, and we, the drivers, are going to get squeezed even more at that point. So I don't want a mandatory tip. I know I do a lot more Instacart than DoorDash, and they used to default the tip to 10% for all the customers. And they saw after pandemic starting to lose business by doing that. They dropped it back down to 5%. Right now, there's good customers there who probably would default. If you defaulted to 10, they're going to pay it. They don't care. They're just doing it. But the fact that it's 5 makes a lot of those orders not profitable for us anymore. So I don't think there should be a mandatory, but I wish the algos could adapt somehow to hit the people who are never going to tip, right? They're never going to tip it. And I don't think it's a luxury. I know we all say it's a luxury service anymore. A lot of people who are ordering this don't have cars, right? They don't have a way to get anywhere. They can't go pick up their food. Now, I can say, hey, go make a sandwich. A lot of them can't afford any of that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So I don't have a problem delivering to something, somebody who is in need, but a lot of these people are not. The ones who are tipping are not like that. They're just expecting, they're entitled. Hey, give me my stuff or give me my food as fast as I want. I don't care about you.
Yeah. Good points. I think, and I'm really anxious to see Hannibal's video, because I know he's going to come in with some things, and not a lot of people will agree with it, but because I've said, hey, this is a luxury service. I think it used to be at one point several years ago, maybe even, right? But now it's become so convenient, and it's so these companies have so much marketing behind it that it's not luxury like it was, right? Because now, like you said, a lot of people just use it and they become accustomed to using it. And the pandemic really catapulted that. And we just expect as consumers, hey, I can get McDonald's anytime. Okay, it's an expectation now. And you get it pretty quick most of the time, even sometimes with a tip or without a tip. So I think the luxury thing is definitely fading away because of just the sheer amount of people that are now able to use the platforms, So I think it's going to be an interesting take he'll have. Bud Soto, what do you say? Mandatory tips, good or bad for gig drivers?
Bad. Be careful what you wish for, because if all those non-tipping customers went away, like part-timers who do this as casual, there's some who do earn by time. They just do it for a little extra side money. They're not doing it like most of us do it. We're the 1%, not the 99, So, if all those orders went away overnight, then every driver would be fighting for profitable orders. In my market, a lot of them are actually less than $30 subtotals, especially during breakfast and lunch. Breakfast is very difficult to work in my market. Now that I lost Spark, it's very hard for me to make money during breakfast time. I try to catch shopping orders, and like he said, the 5% default on a grocery order is a joke for the most part. You're doing a full service thing. Yes, it's not considered luxury anymore, but you are full service. But I do believe the legwork, there is money there, and I've done a lot of no tip or very low tip grocery and shopping orders lately, but they paid very well, like $15, $20, $25. I did a $22 Target the other night that had no tip at all. And there's a fine line there. There's, for the EBT side, there's some customers who genuinely need it. When I did Spark, there was definitely a poor family. They were definitely on assistance, but they gave me what they could in cash. And, at one point they were giving me a bunch of quarters, and I know that's their laundry money. So I said, here, take all the quarters. I'm happy with whatever else, because they wanted me to take something. But mandatory tips is a really bad idea, and then limiting the scope of what a customer can tip is also a bad idea. There used to be a 40% option on Instacart. That's gone now.
Hold up, 40%?
There used to be a 30 and 40. When I started, it was 30 and 40 because customers told me that's what they tipped me.
But that was probably in the height of the pandemic, I would imagine. Am I right?
2021, yes.
Okay,
yeah,
so
May
that
and
makes
June
sense though. That makes a little bit of sense. They can't have that now.
Well, leave it as an option. They got zero as an option. You don't have to hit other and type 000. You just hit 0 button. They made it super simple. It's like, really? Come on, man. But at the same time, like he said, change the suggested tip from 2, 3, 350 to 4, 450, and the majority of these orders would get done instantly, like that. But at the same time, you don't want to limit it to the $4 because back when I had Para, anyone that would roll it back to the $4, the hidden tip indicator, and it should have been more, I would flag, and I wouldn't do that anymore. So instead, I had to blacklist whole little sections because their neighbors decided to, play that game when I have to sit there and wait 20 minutes for their food. So that's not
I want to bring one other person into this convo real quick. Jessica, I see if you can give me a thumbs up if you're ready to hop in. Let me see, Jessica. Can you see me? Yeah, okay, I see. I'm gonna bring Jessica in and get a lady's perspective on this. I want to see her thoughts on mandatory tipping, good or bad, and then we'll come back around to you guys for some final thoughts here. Jessica, how you doing? Hello. So what are your thoughts on what these gentlemen and I are talking about tonight?
My daughter here. It can definitely, I know with tipping, people want to feel like they're doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. So mandatory, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't agree with it. Suggest it is definitely a good thing because some people don't know how to tip. Mm-hmm. So maybe just give them a little note, and then because like on the bottom of receipts, they'll say like 10%, 15%, 20%. Mm-hmm. And then it gives the customer a choice. But
yeah, I hear that. So what apps do you work? And have you ever used any of the apps as a consumer?
I started doing DoorDash in December.
Okay. So you're still kind of new then.
Yes.
Awesome. What market are you in, if you don't mind sharing that with us?
I am in West Virginia.
West Virginia. I've been to West Virginia.
No.
Yes. Shout out to West Virginia. Hold on. Why did you say no, Matrix? Was that Matrix that said oh no?
Oh, I said oh no. I think that's a lot of rural areas, a lot of country miles.
A lot of driving? Is that how it is?
Same here.
But
that's on my market.
Handle, so I'm like right at the tip where it's Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So let me get this back up to the Matrix. Some final thoughts on these topics, and if you want to add any opinion about negativity within the gig community, are we in a better spot than we were 2 years ago? Like, do we need to rethink and refocus how we're looking at these apps? What do you say to that stuff as well?
I just want to start real quick, Pedro. Everybody on this live stream has said it's no longer a luxury service, and I push really back hard on that. It is a luxury service. Somebody goes into a grocery store, goes up and down 12 aisles, shops for you, uses their brakes, their tires, their gasoline, their insurance to deliver your order to your front door. Get the hell out of here. That's a luxury service. That's a higher service than what a waitress does. That's a higher service than what you get your toenails done, you get your hair cut. That's a top end service. What do you? Hang on, Pedro. Give us a few more minutes. Bud Soda, what do you say?
Full service shopping is its own category on its own because it requires a great amount of customer service and a background in it, or just hardcore grinding it out until you figure it out. But just picking up and dropping off at the restaurants for the most part is not, in my opinion. That's just a convenience.
Okay,
we're talking $6 to $10 orders, not $50 shops.
Okay, I agree with you, but even so, driving across town, going into a restaurant, waiting 15 minutes at a restaurant for an order, driving back across town, dropping the order at your doorstep, tell me that's not a luxury service. What the hell other services do we have in our country that's pristine? Like, there's no other service like that. It's a luxury service.
Matrix, the problem is the culture has changed. The culture has changed since the pandemic.
I know, but I'm saying, okay, then let the apps change. Let DoorDash move their tip to a different level. It's a luxury service. It's not just walking across a dining room, taking an order for 4 people and getting $8. It's a luxury service. We are using, and a lot of customers don't know this. I want to put this on the front end. They don't know that we use our own gas. They think we work for DoorDash. They think we work for Applebee's. They think we work for Uber Eats. They're like, you pay $15 enough fees. Certainly the driver is going to get the majority of that. They don't know that. So on the customer's behalf, I've talked to a lot of people on the street. They're like, well, certainly, man, you get like $10 or $12 an order. No, we don't. They don't know that.
I'll push back again. Prop 22 has destroyed tipping culture in California because people there know that they can rely on the Prop 22. And like John McCallan, for example, I'll just give an example. He quit DoorDash recently because it was so hard to find decent orders that are tipped. And now everyone just milks that Prop 22 clock for all it's worth. And on the shopping apps, like you're saying, the full service, the apps put you under extreme pressure or deactivate you if you don't do it within a certain time. But you're also supposed to be communicating with the customer, doing replacements, not doing just refunds just because. So it's a double-edged sword, and it's freaking ridiculous. Be careful what you wish for is all I'm saying. You know,
well, Prop 22 is different. Prop 22 is in California, and that's an entirely different organism that most of us don't have to deal with. So that's a different deal. I'm just saying overall across the other 49 countries, 49 states, it's a luxury service.
So I mean, okay, but what you're suggesting, like if the fee and the customer knows part of that fee because they are adding to it now, and it's going to be a bottom $5 base, all of a sudden for McDonald's orders, my fast food orders, the majority of my orders are fast food. I'm not McDonald's. Like if that happened and all my tips got taken away, my income level would drastically drop. Like because people know that, oh, they're getting a $5 base pay. I don't have to tip them, you know, a bid for my service, I think is a better idea, but be careful again, what you wish for. You know, I agree with you for the most part, but I just got to push back, brother.
Okay. Pedro, can we just continue this for like 60 more seconds?
Go ahead. And anybody else is welcome to come in and give their opinion on what these.
I mean, I just wanted to push back that it's no longer a luxury service. It's absolutely still a luxury service. And again,
I'd push back on that hard.
Most customers don't know that we're using our own resources, that we're independent contractors. They don't know that. They're like, well, he works for DoorDash. Screw him, F him. You know, we'll give him $2.
That's where we step in and educate our customers, though. Like when I worked for Walmart Spark, a lot of people, especially Walmart, think the employees, especially because they nationally advertise that in-home service. So I had to educate my customers. I'm like, I've delivered your DoorDash, your Grubhub, and your Instacart when you were sick or when you got catering, you got a large order. You know, that was all me, and this is the same exact thing. And then finally, that customer like put 2 and 2 together, and like she was angry at first because she thought it was just Walmart associates being lazy, you know, but it wasn't.
Let me answer Hannibal's question. What is luxury? Okay, luxury is we drive across town on our own dime, our own gas, our own brakes, our own vehicle, our own miles. Pick up the order, wait for the order, and again, I have to preface this with the customers don't necessarily know that we do this, but we go to the establishment, we wait for the order, we pick up the order, we put it in a bag, we drive across town, deliver it to your doorstep. Literally, you open your door, reach out, and grab your order.
Matrix.
Hannibal, that is a luxury service.
Matrix,
That
but
is-
everybody's doing that now, right? I mean, I can order something from Best Buy and have it delivered to my door. There's not even an option to tip anymore.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Who
The
delivers
milkman
Best Buy
50
orders?
years ago
Who
delivered
delivers
stuff to
Apple
your
orders?
door.
Who delivers those orders? Us.
It doesn't matter, right? If I can't even tip,
Yes, it
I'm
matters.
showing
We
you that
deliver
this
those
industry has changed. Your Amazon guy, right? The Amazon delivery guy. Now we've got the people working for the company.
Well,
You got
those
all
guys
these
get
flex
paid.
drivers. I
They
go
get
to the
paid
warehouse
by
and pick up
route.
100 packages, right?
Hang on.
There's
They
not
get
even an
paid
option
by
to tip.
route. It's different. They get paid by the route.
Yeah.
You show up as an Amazon driver or a flex driver,
And you
say,
would
"Hey,
do
I
the
wanna do
same
this."
when you're shopping your other orders, right? Take the ones that are profitable to you.
No,
You
I
get
do.
Amazon
I
routes
do.
that are absolutely trash.
I
But
do.
would I call
I've
that
heard on
luxury?
this. Hang on.
Your
I've
definition
heard on
would be
this
luxury,
stream
right?
that it's no longer a luxury service. It is a luxury service. It is.
Matrix, I got a question for you. Do you think it's if you're the customer, do you think it would still be considered a luxury service if the dasher mistreated your food because they weren't satisfied with the size of the tip? I think that's a real problem. I'm not saying it's like enormous, but that's the perception that we have because of the media and everything. If, for example, a cruise ship like Pedro was on, I would call that a luxury service because I know for fact I'm getting good customer service because these are trained professionals, whereas we don't even have food handlers permits. Would you call it a luxury service when you have no idea whether your dasher is some crackhead off the side of the road who just does his own thing? I'm just curious what you're thinking of that.
I would say I agree with you. There are some terrible dashers. There's probably some terrible. If Pedro goes on a cruise and he orders a Bloody Mary and they bring him a gin and tonic, he might say, "God damn, I'm on this luxury cruise liner. I just ordered this Bloody Mary and they brought me the wrong drink." That will happen. I'll tell you one story for 15 seconds. My last delivery tonight. This is the first time this has happened to me in 10,000 orders, 10,000 deliveries, 8,000 on DoorDash and a lot of other ones. I went to a delivery. It was handed to me. The pin on the map was the last house on the right. I pulled up, got out. There was a guy at the end of the driveway, and he said, "Hey," and I said, "Hey." I said, "Can I give this to you?" And he said, "Sure." I handed him the order. I'm not kidding you. This happened 3 hours ago. And I gave it to him and I drove off. And I got a call from DoorDash. And he said, "Hey, I showed my order was dropped off." And I said, "Yeah, I handed it to you at the end of your driveway." And he said, "You didn't hand it to me." And I was like, "Yes, I did." And he said, "I don't have my order." And so I said, a guy came to the bottom of the driveway. I handed it to him. And he proceeded to cuss me out and say, "This is why I don't tip in advance on DoorDash." And he hung up on me. And I was like, oh my God, I delivered to the wrong person. I would have never known because the guy came, his neighbor came to the bottom of the driveway. I handed them the order. But that's one of those things where they're like, "Hey, I'm going to tip after I get the service," as opposed to before the service. So
but we all know that they won't tip after. Once they're done the transaction, they ain't gonna tip after.
Well, of
we all
course.
know that.
Yeah.
So
They're never going to tip.
you know
after.
that's where leave at door. That's why I despise hand to me orders, because the leave at door is a layer of protection for both the customer and the driver. So
Yeah, this is why I always confirm their name as I'm handing it to them. And of course, I know not everybody can carry a body cam, but I record every drop off.
But hang on, if I have a guy at the bottom of the driveway where the DoorDash map has pinned the house, and I say, "Hey, can I hand this to you?" And he's like, "Sure," and I give it to him, and man, 1 in 10,000 deliveries, I delivered to the wrong person.
Well, you've never seen it all, man. at all.
So,
Hey,
so
let
me-
listen,
You can never be too
listen,
careful.
I just had a hand-to-me customer. Even though I let the timer run out, there's some glitch with DoorDash where it says you didn't let the timer run out, but it says you did the final step, which you have to let the timer run out for. So, and the fact that it seems that they're trying to limit how I abuse can't hand a customer because I want to protect myself, and they're making it so you have to basically be on top of the person's driveway to hit the button, which is really annoying because who wants to sit there and wait 5 minutes in the driveway? It's actually counterintuitive for both the company and us. So, it should just be a simple button push like most Instacart orders are. And that's something I'll give Instacart a lot of credit for, because even if it's not, they'll instantly look in the messages and like, oh, the customer, quote unquote, found the order. Or if you were communicating the whole time, they would have understood what happened versus if it was, you said, yeah, DoorDash order.
Let me so hold on. I want to get Jessica's I want to ask Jessica a question. Jessica, you've been doing DoorDash since December. You're in West Virginia. In your opinion, do you think DoorDash is a luxury service for consumers?
For my area, majority of the people, I would say yes. The very few is convenience. But I've had, like on the weekends, people are drinking. They can't go out and drink and drive and go pick up something to eat. It's late. It's like 2:00 in the morning. They're hungry. I've had situations like that. Or I've had kids where their parents weren't home and they wanted something to eat.
But do you take those orders?
I take a lot of orders, and
It's just is your market small?
so I take majority. Yeah, I'm at
Really?
8% right
Are they profitable? Is your dollar per mile good?
now. No, on average, it's only $1 per mile around here. So
no.
Your average for the day above $1 per mile. That's kind of the line for profitability. Because you can take a straight up dollar per mile as long as you get one straight back as soon as you jump that off, which is what I do in my rural area. But I also live by a military base, so I'm like the exception to the rule.
Yeah. I might get it like $2, and that's usually when it's like literally less than 2 miles. I literally will take the $2.25, and I've learned that there's no that.
Yeah, I would. It's
No, decline those. Decline
hold
those.
on,
Honey.
hold on, y'all. Hold on. Listen, the 2.25s will never go up. The $3 will never go. There won't be more. You might see occasionally, but extremely rare. You'll see maybe a cash tip, but very, 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 very rare. At least in my experience, I can't speak for West Virginia, but I know you've been doing it for a couple of months, right? Try a week or so of being maybe a little more selective, and maybe you'll be a little more profitable. I don't know. Try some things. Just try different things in your market and see if you have better results. Because I don't want to come here and say, oh, well, don't do this, don't do that. But if you're being profitable and you're looking at your mileage, how much gas did I use today? Okay, what did I really make? I got to put a little bit away for taxes. If you're making money, keep doing what you're doing. If you feel like you're not making enough, then maybe adapt. Does that make sense? Try different strategies and make it work.
That's why I've been listening to you, trying to get some insight on how other areas are.
Yeah, you can listen to me. There's a lot of other really smart people on YouTube. Yeah. Keep getting your information. But the best thing you can do for yourself is learn your merchants, what places you want to stay away from, what days are good in your market, what time of the day is good to start. What time of the day do I need to not be out because there's nothing out? You'll learn that just by doing it more and more. But being a little more selective and a little patient at certain times, especially in the middle of lunch rush or dinner rush, you'll probably make more money. But you got to find that for yourself, though.
Jessica, do you do it part-time or full-time?
Well, currently my car's in the shop. So I got my top dasher and I can't even put it to use.
No.
So, but I have noticed, because I've done different areas. Like I said, I'm like Virginia, Maryland. I kind of go out of my little surrounding area. I try different areas. I have noticed like Leesburg, which is Virginia, they have a higher base pay, which is $7.25, $7.50. But I've noticed their customer tip is low. And then my surrounding area, the most I've seen is like 350, and tip is really good. But on average, they average the same.
Yeah, definitely want to experiment. Have you tried signing up for Uber Eats? Do they have that in your area?
I think
How
it was yes, it was Uber Eats that Grubhub. I just tried to do Grubhub and I'm on a wait list.
Yeah,
And I
Grubhub, the
know
wait
somebody
list.
else that literally went and tried to do every app and they're on a wait list for everything.
Give Uber Eats a try. For me, it only took like a week for them to approve me, and I can't make any promises, but you want to apply as soon as you can, definitely, because you never know how long the wait lists are going to be. But yeah, if you have a couple of apps, and yeah, not all of them are for everybody, but if you have a couple of them to choose from, and it seems like most markets, Uber Eats has fewer orders, but better paying ones all around. So it does help you to be a little bit more selective if you can have like a couple to run at the same time. I would
That's
suggest giving it a
exactly
try.
Do a couple of
that's
apps.
exactly the video I dropped today was round 2 of Uber Eats versus DoorDash. First app to $100 wins. I recorded that today. I'll probably release it on YouTube in 2 days. But it's exactly what he just said. App versus app, like order versus order. And I agree. Most Uber Eats orders are higher. They're better paying. They have bigger hidden tips. But DoorDash wins on volume because
Long
we
as we're
get way more DoorDash orders, 10 DoorDash orders versus like 1 or 2 Uber Eats orders. But that was my content today was Uber versus DoorDash. So in my market, at least, DoorDash is always going to win. But I think in other markets, Uber might be better.
Yeah, in my market, Uber is better. I've got DoorDash and I've got both Uber. Even Grubhub has really started to pick up in my market lately with that Amazon deal. I mean, my market was dead for Grubhub, and all of a sudden it's gone off, and I get a ton of volume on there all of a sudden.
Yeah, as long as we're Matrix just plugged his video. Pedro, you mind if I suggest a couple to Jessica?
I missed what you said. Say it again.
Matrix just mentioned his video. You mind if I plug myself to Jessica real quick here?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Jessica, I've got a channel I've been doing for a few months, and I do ride-alongs, and I kind of throw in tips and tricks there, but I do have a couple of videos I recently dropped specifically geared towards new drivers. I've got 8 things I wish I knew before I started driving DoorDash, and I've got how to select orders on DoorDash. I suggest taking a look at those, see what you think, see if it gives you some tips. Because I try to just share like what I've learned by my own experience rather than just copying everybody else. Just try to give it from my perspective, and I think you might find something helpful in there.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Cool. See, we hold on, Buzz Soda. You're really noisy. Hold up. So Buzzy, yeah. So what I like here is we got a driver that's been totally different market, more rural, but I think she's close to Maryland, like she said, and all that. So, but I like that we're trying to, this was good about this community, Jessica, is that you'll find people that can be helpful and offer suggestions, and then what you do is you just make it your own. You know what I'm saying? And even if you could just take. If you usually make $80 on a particular day, I'll just throw that number out there. I'm not sure what it is, but if you could take that 80 and figure out how to either make the same 80 and drive, 10 less miles, 15 less miles, or instead of making 80, you drive the same miles, but you're making 90 or 95. If you can do that each day, either drive less miles and make the same or make a little bit more, right? If you could do that and compound that over time, you'll really start all that extra money will go to your what we call profits, and you'll be more profitable, and you'll be, you know what I'm saying? Like the devil's in the details. If you can make an extra $5-10 on each shift here or there, it will begin to add up for you, and you'll learn it, and you can get there. Just, you're going to have some rough days, and it happens to all of us, but appreciate your new driver perspective. And I like that these guys are kind of giving you guys a little bit of tips. There's a lot of really awesome content out here. Just realize you got to make it your own, because you're in West Virginia, right? Yeah. So it's going to be different than it is in St. Louis, Right. So, go ahead, Jessica.
Bangers, and I'm just like, the best I have ever gotten was, I was told it was $9, and it was some construction workers, and they pitched in, and I ended up leaving with Now I got $28. So that was the best I got.
Awesome.
And I was so thankful for it, though.
Yeah.
And I always tell my customer, thank you. It's really good. So
Yeah. But so I think you wanted to chime in.
So I have a couple questions for you. How big is the population of the most major town you work?
oh boy. So for West Virginia, we are definitely
Roughly.
most I couldn't tell you. I don't keep up
10,
with all that.
20,000, 40,000. So like I'm the most rural driver in this group. So like I have 40,000 in my most major city just south of me. There's 20,000 on Fort Drum, 70,000 in this whole area. But I'm also from a way more rural area where the biggest town is 10,000. That's my county seat. And the next town over is like 8,000. So maybe 30,000 in that whole area, 35,000 in that whole area. How many stores do you have in your area? Do you have Instacart? Do you have Walmart? Groceries where it's at in the rural areas. And if you can figure out how to work that and you take food orders on top of that, I have a lot of videos on that. Sorry, I'll just save a plug.
Listen, hold up. Bud Soda, but Jessica is not ready to watch your videos. I want to say that right now. I want to interrupt you. No, I'm being
dangerous.
Serious. You cannot watch Bud Soda because you're still too new.
No. Okay. I'll say this.
You cannot do that.
I'll simplify it. You have a grocery order. You take one single food order.
Bud Soda, stop. We cannot talk stack and route. Okay, I'm not gonna throw.
I'm not saying take 6 orders like me.
All right,
I'm not saying take 6 orders.
Not doing
You need to get more comfortable with shopping first.
Nope. I'm gonna pause you. Stop. I'm gonna pause you. I'm gonna mute you, bro. Listen, we cannot do that right now. She's not ready yet. I'm saying
shopping's
that respectfully.
I'm saying shopping's where the money is. That's what I'm trying to tell her.
I just
scratchy.
I gotta mute him. Good. Listen, Jessica, keep plugging away. Bud Soda is like the Zeus of gig world. He can do all these crazy things. You know, he's like a wild, crazy guy. He takes like 20 orders at once. You can't do that. You can't do that yet. Yeah. So I love Bud Soda. We all do, but you can't.
I had 7 last night.
Anyway, listen,
did not mute him properly.
Yeah, I have a few more people that want to jump on. I'm gonna let you guys peacefully bow out. Appreciate you guys' opinions. I'm gonna bring up a few more people before it gets too late. The Matrix, Dasher Benz, Bud Soda, Gigaholic Rex, and Jessica. Nice to meet you. Appreciate you guys coming on tonight.
Thanks,
Good
Paige.
job. Don't go crazy like me. Take care, everybody.
nice talking to y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let me hold on 1 second. I gotta get that one. Okay, so I still see some people in the background. I would love to get you guys in because you guys have been waiting, and I don't want to be disrespectful. I want you guys to join the convo. Let me just take a second to read some of these comments. Jessica should hang out in the driver's live shows and ask questions in real time. Rolling with Red, that's a great recommendation. And like I told you, Jessica, there's a lot of really good channels out here. Do your research, and like I said, if you could just go from making $80 to $90 each day, that $10 begins to add up. If you do 5 days a week, that's $50. That could cover some of your gas costs. Like, you know, the devil's in the details in the gig economy, right? But know that West Virginia is West Virginia, so you can't listen to everything I do or somebody else does because the market's going to be very different, right? But the 225 orders, really try to stay away from that. You can't. Those are going to be a negative profitability for you 99.9% of the time. What up, Zach? What up, reseller? I see David Chen in the house. What up, Tammy? What up, Yost Malone in the house? Yost in the building. What up? Vaughn, I see you, Vicky, Taqueen. Appreciate all you guys. Hope you guys are getting hope you guys are getting value from the content. Consider hitting that thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. Taqueen, appreciate that, man. Let me go ahead and put this up. Let's see what my man Taqueen's got going on. He says, I bet Bud Soda has the best excuses for his customers after arriving late to them, doing 7 orders at once. LOL. No way he gets all those orders on time. I bet Bud Soda does. He's a wordsman, right? So he's got that gift of gab. So he's like, oh, well, this happened. And shout out to Bud Soda. Love. Appreciate that, Bob. Appreciate that. All right. So, yeah, I don't know, Dad Dash. I know she said she was around that Maryland border too. So I think she's in a place in West Virginia close to Maryland. I know she did mention that. If you're Jessica, if you're in a chat, you can go ahead and drop that if you like. It's up to you. Okay, so I see Random Ryan. I see Vic the Kid. I see Chris, Arizona. I see another Ryan, which I can't. It's really dark. So the Ryan that's like super dark, not random Ryan. I see you. The other Ryan, if you could turn some kind of light on, I don't know who that is. I see my boy Hector. I think that's my boy Hector. Hector. Is that Hector? Hector. What's the background there? I can't tell. Show your face, Hector. Show your face. And I like to bring you guys on in a minute. I think that's a Hector I know. But some of y'all in the dark. That's Hector. I know Hector. I'm gonna bring you guys on. We're talking about mandatory tipping. We're talking about, is DoorDash a luxury service? The conversation kind of organically went to that. You can share your opinions on those two subjects. I'd love to hear it. So let me go ahead and bring in Hector. I got
What's
Chris.
good?
What's up? What's up? I got Random Ryan. What's up? What's up? I got Vic the Kid. Hello, hello, hello.
What up?
And I see this Ryan as well. I can't really see him, but all right. Can everybody hear me? You guys good?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. We
All
good.
right, all right. I'm gonna
Yeah, I
start
can
with my
hear
man. I'm gonna start with my man Hector first. Hector, what do you think about mandatory tipping? Good or bad thing?
You know that's not good, brother. You know that's not good. Come on, man.
Well,
That's
I know, but I'm asking you. What do you
yeah,
think? You think it's not good?
not good, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I think one of the biggest things that I think we all forget is that a lot of these gig apps, they don't do like consumer to delivery driver relations. I think one of the biggest flaws in that is that they don't connect with us as drivers to the consumer. Like, for example, let's say, like, how DoorDash sometimes they'll send you like orders to the same person. Happens. It happens.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no connection. I just feel like it's just like one way. I deliver your order and that's it. And then maybe one day another person might deliver the same order and you're getting a good tip out of that. Guess what? That one person just messed it up. Now your whole system is messed up. Even in the restaurant industry, you even know that when people even get good tables, they get good tables for what? Is because they've been working there for a long time. They know the customer like that. I feel like DoorDash has, and a lot of gig apps, they do that. They don't really connect with the consumer to the driver. I think that's one of the biggest flaws. Another thing that you guys talked about, because I was listening to the Buzzsaw and everybody. So with the mandatory tipping, there's another thing too. Back in the day, I used to work with my dad. He used to install credit card machines, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express. And I don't know if you guys know, but those companies, they take a fee off every transaction that you sell.
Yeah.
I know Visa and MasterCard is like 1.5%, 2%.
Yep.
American Express is a flat fee. That's why you see a lot of places, they don't accept a lot of American Express. It's a flat fee of like 3.5% per every transaction. So anytime that you get a full 100% of the tip, remember that the company that's giving you that tip, they're not getting 100% back. They're only getting like 95, 96%. They're losing money. Like we as contractors, we're getting all the tips. So I think that's also another thing too with mandatory tipping. It could be like Instacart. Instacart went from like 20% to like $2. What happens if that's a mandatory tip now? You get $100 order, and the mandatory tip for that company, they say is $2 or $3 or $4.
That's
and
trash. Yeah, it's no good. Yeah,
that's not good, because what we consider mandatory is not what we want. Because now if the companies were to do that, they can mandate whatever tip amount they want. It could be 2, 5, 7, 10%. And we could even get screwed even more. So at the end of the day, I feel like that's the two flaws that's going on. The connection with the customer to the consumer and to the driver, I think that's one of them. And the percentages, I do not want any gig apps to dictate how much I get paid. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like the customer doesn't know how much we use our cars. They do not know that we're independent contractors. They do not know that we do these gig apps based per order, not per an hour.
Yeah.
We do not work for any of these companies. You know what I mean? We do not work for Chick-fil-A. We don't work for, I have a Kroger here. We don't work for Kroger. We don't work for H-E-B. We don't work for none of those people. We work for ourselves. So I feel like that's where the disconnection is. And these gig apps, they don't tell the consumer that. They're left in the dark about it. So they think that we work for these companies. So they feel like, we don't have to tip as much because they're probably getting paid per an hour. They're very misinformed. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. It's a good point. Chris, what do you say to the tipping, mandatory tipping? What's your thoughts on it? What's your opinion? Oh, I think you're muted, Chris.
I think you're muted.
Hold on. Yeah, Chris, you got to
You
mute.
hear me
Unmute
now?
you. Now you're good. Go
Okay,
ahead.
we're
Yeah.
good now.
Yeah.
No mandatory tips. But one of the things y'all haven't discussed is recovery time. How long from the one completion you've completed to when you get your next order. Like me, I live in a rural area, so I have to drive all the way back to the zone to get another order. So I mean, it's not like I see on your videos where you drive and all of a sudden you get another order. I might have to drive 2 or 3 miles like that other lady in the rural area to get back to a zone that would give me an order. But I think
But mandatory tips for you, you think it's a bad idea? Is that what you're saying? Right?
Mandatory tips would be a bad idea for me because I mean, for me, I'm taking based on direction. I'm like you, if it's going in the direction I need to, because all the restaurants in my town are in one area, so I need to be headed towards that direction to make money, and then because and to be a mandatory tip would be a very hard thing because then I wouldn't be able to be as selective. If I know a stacked order, maybe a $6 and a $4 is all going to the same place, the customer might not, for me, mathematically, I'll take that. But if the customer's not willing to pay at least what, for me, it's hard to take low orders.
Let me ask you this question, Chris, as well. What do you say to? Do you think DoorDash is a luxury service? When you hear that, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think a luxury service would be the skill level of the dasher, because for me, I've been doing it a long time. I might be like, what was that guy, the other guy's name, that be able to like take 7 or 8 orders at a time. But he's got skills. He's able to do that. Or he might be able to shop large orders and get everything correct. Where a new person, they don't have those skills. They can't take a hot food bag and a grocery delivery at the same time and be able to manage all of that stuff. Where I think DoorDash, like I said before, DoorDash learns, the algorithm learns how you do it, and it learns your skill level. And I think the customer should be able to pay for, if they want somebody who's very skilled and very knowledgeable about the business, they should be able to look on there and say, okay, I have 10,000 deliveries. And right next to your name, there should be a little thing that says that. So
you're saying the luxury service, it's a luxury service sometimes depending upon the skill level of the driver.
Well, the skill level of in the restaurant. If you're going to a cheap McDonald's, that's not a luxury item. But if you're going to a 5-star restaurant and picking up a 5-star meal, and you'd expect a level of you pay extra. Well, I get out the fancy bag and I put your food in the fancy catering bag and I bring it to your house and I kiss your ass a little bit extra, because I know that they're expecting that. Or if I go to the gated neighborhood.
So you're saying like drivers, so there should be like some drivers out there wearing tuxedos and white gloves and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's some people out here, like he said, there's people out here that look homeless and they sleep in their car, they just collect up the money.
I know.
But there should be some kind of label to each one of us, because I mean,
well, I do know this though. Uber Eats, when I've ordered on Uber Eats, when it tells me who my driver is, it tells me how many deliveries they've had. It tells me their customer rating, and it gives me a picture of them. So I know Uber actually tells me, like, it'll tell me like, hey, Pedro's picking up your pizza. He's got 7,000 deliveries. He's been driving since May of whatever. He's customer ratings 99%. So I know Uber does that. But I don't think DoorDash does it. But I know Uber does.
But I think that as a customer, you looked on your phone and you said, hey, I know, because I get the same customers every week. So the customer's very, they're like, hey, I really enjoy when you bring me my food because I know it's going to be correct and hot. And you got, like me, I bought extra bags. I don't use the cheap ones that DoorDash give you. I went and bought good pizza bags because I think the presentation of the food and the way I present it to the customer at their door, or they're watching me on the little doorbell camera. Everybody's got one of those days, so they know when you walk up to the door, if you don't have the food in the hot bag, they're keeping an eye. And I don't want to be the next guy that's on some kind of video and saying, oh, look at this DoorDash guy, he don't even bring the food in the hot bag. But I think that's the quality of service. What do we bring to the customer? Do we take the extra effort to make sure the napkins and the straws, and we call and ask them, hey, I noticed you didn't have a sauce in your bag today. Do you want this to, French fry sauce or something in your bag? Each one of us provide a better, because, when we're new, you get a new person's delivery. People might forget stuff. They don't, they can't only manage one order. But as an experienced person, 10,000 deliveries, I can manage more things, and it's better and correct. And I think they should pay for that.
Let me get to my man Random Ryan here. Random Ryan, what do you think about mandatory tips? Give me your thoughts on this. DoorDash a luxury service? Was it ever? What do you say to that?
All right, first, can you hear me or?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. First of all, number one pick this year. That's great for us Bears fans.
It is, man. We got some options at least.
It's so stupid, Houston. But anyway, I'm kind of heated about this topic, and it's not specific to this topic, but in general, a lot of things in this world. First of all, the tipping part, I really don't care. It's either way, it's going to be bad or good. I'm Instacart mainly, and with Instacart, it doesn't matter if they do the mandatory tip; they can take it away in 2 hours. So it's like, oh yeah, mandatory tip $10. I'll just take it away. It's and so if DoorDash or any of those other platforms maybe go to that who just say they can change the tip too. And it's I think there's always going to be good and bad between both, and it's just you got to work with what you're given, honestly.
Yeah.
But the part that heats me, I just turned 39 a couple weeks ago. I just feel like I'm an old fart now or something. But
you're still younger than me, man. You're only as old as you feel, brother. Right?
I feel old. But this whole luxury versus not, it is complete. So here's the thing. To me, it's a luxury service. We're not talking about luxury people, luxury food, luxury anything. The service itself is luxury. And I'm tired of hearing the things like, oh, disabled people and people can't get their food. We didn't have DoorDash 10 years ago or 20 years ago. We didn't have these services. We did it along just fine. We had other companies, nonprofits do things for the homeless, for disabled, for all those people.
Good point.
The app themselves and the service that they're providing is a luxury. It's we didn't have ride share back then. We had extra taxis and pay up the wazoo. We didn't have cell phones. We got along just fine. The biggest thing for me when I started driving as a pizza delivery, I didn't have GPS. I used the map.
Yep.
It's just crazy that as time goes and progresses, it's become more normalized that it's not a luxury, and we become used to it, and that we think that we deserve it, or that it's, since it's there, we should have it. And we forget about how we're lucky to have these options and these services. And that, I think, is what makes it a luxury. It's like, you don't have it. You don't have to have it. It's not a necessity. And the word luxury means many different things. It doesn't mean a Rolex watch and a yacht and all that, like fine dining. Luxury is something that, to me, in my opinion, is something that you don't need, but you want, and it makes your life or your mood or something better. That's a luxury. And most people can't afford, a lot of people can't afford those luxuries in life. And to me, it's upsetting and like annoying that people talk about this stuff when there's people that don't have the luxury of, simple things. Like,
it's a good point. I think
anything.
I've said it many times, most of what we deliver and pick up or whatever is not a necessity, right? It's most of the time it's not. Most of the orders that are being fulfilled are
the services.
If I order something right now, I don't need a McDonald's. I don't need it. I have food here, right? So I do understand there are sometimes where people are ordering things and they might really need it, but that's not the majority.
To me, if anything, the argument would be said, grocery store shopping and delivering is more of a luxury because you need food to eat. You don't need Long John Silver's, McDonald's, all this other crap. And I get it that a lot of times, because there's this whole thing back in the West Virginia area, not to shade on her and stuff, but the Rocky Mountain stuff, people always ate junk food and like Mountain Dew because it's cheaper. They were feeding kids Mountain Dew because it's cheaper than milk and formula and stuff. And they grew up with rotted teeth as even their permanent teeth, and there was so many issues over there because of the amount it costs. So I can get that, and I get it with fast food and all that stuff. But to have it delivered to your door and everything, and paying like double sometimes of one meal, that's ridiculous. Nobody needs that. I mean, you can call a family member, call your neighbor, ask somebody else if you really need something. You can.
I hear
find
that. I
ways.
think those are valid. I think those are valid statements, and definitely, you know, I don't know how long you've been watching, but Hannibal Sungry has a video coming out tomorrow about that, and definitely watch that. I know he would welcome any of your opinion on what he's going to say about it tomorrow. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing his
like
spin
I said,
on it. You know,
I feel bad for saying that because I get other people's ideas and stuff, but I just also think for the older people at least, go back 20 years and just think of how we dealt without all this and how life was. Like I said, times change, your attitudes and your beliefs are like you normalize things and things you progress with it, of course, with time, and the internet on phone now is almost like everybody has. You know, back then it was more of luxury than it is today. Now today it's more of a necessity, but you still don't need it technically. You know, you could still do without. It's just you know, you forget sometimes we're lucky to have this stuff, and
we forget how lucky we have, and we definitely take things for granted, right?
Yeah, now more than ever, it's easier to work for yourself too, and that's where this sucks. I hate it because not a lot of people have many options, but like people say, multi-app, do all these apps, and it's not just food delivery; it's everywhere. People are like independent. You can find almost like I quit the railroad 17 years. I did it. They're hiring right now. You know, 6-figure plus jobs, and they're looking for anybody that's willing to go away for 2 nights and come back home and just work, and no degree necessary, nothing, just
and
apply.
That's great money.
And
think about that, right?
Yeah, it is. The benefits are great, everything, but opportunities are out there. So I'm one of those people. If you don't like it, keep looking. I mean,
I agree.
That's all I
100%,
say for now.
100%.
I'll let the other person come in.
100%. Appreciate that. So I got my man Vic the Kid. I think he's driving somewhere in the morning time. I don't know if he's in Alaska. I don't know what's going on, but how you doing, man? Yeah,
can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
All right. Yeah, I just went into a gas station. That's all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the topics we're talking about tonight, Vic?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's definitely a luxury service for sure, and I'll just keep it very simple. It's something you can afford to do on a daily basis, and if it's not, it's luxury. Can you afford to go into an Applebee's every day and pay $50 to $100 a day? No, then it's luxury.
I definitely can't afford to eat Applebee's every day for $50 a day.
Right. So, you know, it's like, look, I drove through the pandemic, so I've been driving for a couple of years. I know people who I know can't afford this, that was on Section 8, that somehow had the money and that are now not doing it. Why? Because it's a luxury service. I don't care if you're getting McDonald's or you're getting Five Guys or you're getting some luxury 5-star restaurant. It's a luxury service. The majority of people cannot afford something like this.
Well, I agree. I agree. I think a majority of people can't afford it, but they still order. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people order on DoorDash, and technically it's like maybe all they got is $20 in the bank, but they're actually ordering the DoorDash, right? I think a lot of consumers are in that boat as well. So,
yeah, because they make the business off of laziness. People are just lazy. They don't want to pick it up. They don't want to pick it up, and I can understand that. But just understand that DoorDash is making money off of your laziness, wanting a luxury service.
Yeah,
it's just like any other business.
You're absolutely right about that. Yeah,
it's like oh, you want to be lazy? Oh, okay, fine. We'll help to make sure that your laziness is acknowledged and give you a luxury service that you want for a Tuesday.
Yeah. What do you say to the mandatory tipping? What do you think that's a good or bad thing for drivers? What's your opinion on that?
Mandatory tipping, it's probably not a good thing. I did Papa John's before DoorDash and Uber for 5 years. The owners of that tried mandatory tipping in my area.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So, and that didn't work out very well. So
Why didn't it work? Can you give us a little peek behind the curtain as to why that didn't work in your area for that Papa John's? Why do you think, what happened there that was bad?
They thought that it would somehow, like, because they just wanted like a flat fee, basically, and that was our tip.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought that that would get more people in to say, oh, okay, all we have to worry about is this. Okay. But it didn't. It either stayed stagnant or we just lost customers. So it doesn't. What I noticed about people just like the luxury of the option. People love options. We are a society of the more options, the better.
Absolutely.
If we don't have it, if you talk to a salesperson, they say, I'll give them at least 2 options, because if you just give them one, they're probably not going to want it. So people love options, and they actually got to a point where they just took that away, and they just gave them an option, and we actually went better.
Yeah.
And because what they actually did, they lowered it was basically like a delivery fee, basically. They lowered the delivery fee and just gave people the option, and people felt the need, or felt like, oh, okay, I have the option if I want to on a Wednesday or Friday night. Oh, I could add a couple bucks on there since it's only a $2.99 fee, you know.
People love options. People love options. Think about you go to a grocery store, you go somewhere, like there's 1,000 different kinds of barbecue sauce. So there's this, there's that. We love our options. We go to a strip mall and and there's 5 different places to eat. Like us Americans love abundance and we love options. So you bring up a very, very great point.
We love those 10 types of barbecue sauce, baby. Oh yeah, we love it. Yeah.
We don't need it, but we love it.
Right, and that's how DoorDash thrives. They thrive off of people, Americans, loving options, being able to be lazy on the Tuesday. They thrive off of that. That's how they thrive. So I don't think it should be mandatory, because look, like the way the economic climate is now, it's not like nothing's going to change for us. We just have to adapt. That's all it is. People are still going to want to order. People still want to be lazy. And people are still like, it's not going to change. Whatever it is, you just have to adapt as a driver. That's all you have to do. Know your market.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me get to the not random Ryan, but regular Ryan here. I can't see who it is. Are you still with us, Ryan?
Yeah, how you doing, man? In a minute.
I'm good.
I popped in here. Yeah,
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm glad to finally hop back on. It's been probably like a month and a half, something like that. But no, I'm going to my girl's house, so I'm just gonna be on here for a couple minutes. But yeah, a lot of these guys bring up a lot of good points. You know, a lot of the callers. You know, it's definitely luxury, no question about that. I mean, when you can get a $2.50 order from a Wawa, you know, somebody orders a bunch of drinks and they live right across the street in a $2,000 a month condo. Yeah, no doubt that's luxury. No doubt, you know, pure laziness. But yeah, you know, it's I think mandatory tipping, I really, that would be hard to get on board with. You know, it definitely would be. But I think DoorDash as a whole, especially for drivers that have, you know, worked for multiple years, has, you know, done well over 1,000, you know, 5,000 orders, whatever that may be. They should, you know, be incentivized a little bit. You know, I don't have a high acceptance rate because, you know, I'm only going to take orders that make me money at the end of the day. And I was surprised about 2 weeks ago, I did get Top Dasher out of nowhere. I've been on the app for about 5 years now, college student, you know, just kind of doing my thing. And, you know, it was a shock to me because my acceptance rate is like probably 10 or 15 right now. But it was awesome. You know, I really, I made the most of that for the week or so I had it. You know, I see what it's all about, but I'm not, you know, it's not going to incentivize me because I can pick up a block anytime in my area. You know what I mean? It was kind of cool to just see like, oh, you know, I can jump in here whenever.
Yeah, they were giving dashers that as kind of like a, hey, see, try this out kind of deal. You
Right.
did without having the actual metrics, and I think some people liked it. There's mixed results based on what I've saw and what I heard, but it's interesting to see that you were one of those people.
Right. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I've done my thing on the app. I have a great customer rating. I communicate with the customers. They pay me money to do a job. I'm gonna make sure I do the best job for them. But that kind of turns into Instacart. Instacart is bad, man. Like I'll do some really good orders on there, but I'll also see orders that are, the base pay $7 for 116 items for 7 miles. That is absolutely unacceptable in any capacity. And I, of course, I screenshot it, but that if they actually get a driver to do something like that, that's pretty shameful, personally.
Yeah, Instacart. Some of the worst things I've seen have been on Instacart because it'll be like $9. It might take you an hour and a half. A lot of items. It's crazy, but eventually, maybe that order becomes high enough because they will up that pay. But Instacart, man, I've seen some really bad things on Instacart.
Items, man, that's insane for no tip. Like that's
crazy.
Lunacy.
Yeah.
But then, I will say, another thing, in terms of drivers, of course, there's, they're a dime a dozen, but there's going to be good ones and there's going to be some pretty bad ones. Like, me and my girlfriend will order Wawa or something like that every once in a while. The last 2 times it never came to us. Drivers are stealing orders and stuff like that. And that's, I can see how the bad publicity that some of these drivers do get. I see it. I understand why they do it. I don't agree with it. But that's not gonna, incentivize somebody to order from the app if they're gonna, have these bad experiences.
Yeah, good point. I think, and I do think that too many customers do have a bad experience, and it kind of pauses them when I want to tip before, but I don't know if I'm even going to get my food or they're going to do it right or this or that. But to Hector's point earlier, I think some of the issue is that there's not transparency from the gig app to the consumer, and the consumer doesn't know like what we really make or what we're doing, and that we're not an employee. So then there's this feeling of like, well, I hear DoorDash drivers make $25 an hour. Do I really need to tip them? Like, there's just a lot of that going on, I think, as well. So,
and I think that needs to change, and especially on the app. I think, future customers there should be a little pop-up notification before the order goes through saying, hey, this is how much your driver would make if you, a tip would go a long way, in furthering a better outcome in your, delivery, a smoother outcome in your delivery process. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they need to know about these things, because I had somebody the other day that was not happy with me for some reason. And she said she wanted to speak to a manager. And I told her, I said, I'm an independent contractor, man. So, I think there's a big disconnect.
Yeah, I can see that. Let me get back up to my man, Hector. If you got some final thoughts, and we'll go around. Sounds good, man. Thank you. So Hector, what do you say, man? Some final thoughts before we.
I got a few things. I did not know. I didn't talk about the whole if DoorDash is these gig apps are a luxury service. They actually are. They help us out a lot. I mean, us too. I mean, you got to understand too. A lot of people right now, we are in a day and age where we need to make a lot of money. Everybody's broke. Everybody's trying to hustle. So people don't have time to cook. People don't have time to do all of that. So yeah, it is a luxury service because the demand is really high because people are working a lot of hours, right? Mm. So I think that's why I was going back to before. I was saying that this connection, we need to have more connection with that with the gig apps, and people need to know what we're actually doing. Like they don't give us zero benefits. They don't give us nothing. They just give an offer and that's it. Number 2, with Instacart. What's that app? What's that application that people can do to break down their payments into 4? It starts with a K, Carlina or Carla, whatever it's called.
I'm not sure. I have no idea. Anybody know in the chat?
Yeah, so know? you could get something and then break down your payments into 4 and pay bi-weekly.
I think Carlina or something like that. It's Carlina. Like 4 payments for a set of time.
Do you know that you could do that on Instacart? You could break down your payments into 4. In car, You could order $400 worth of groceries and break down your payments into 4. Now, if you telling me that people are gonna tip using that, you bugging, bro. Like,
But you
they
also have to have good credit to do that. They don't just give it to anybody. Just like
well,
you know.
before you weren't allowed to have good credit. It was you could do it with just a phone number and a debit card. Now I think they changed the system because I think they make it like a soft pull.
See,
now.
that's dangerous.
It's everywhere.
That's dangerous because if anything, that might have people ordering things they really don't need, and they're putting themselves in a bad position. You know, ordering $400 and then you're kind of trying to pay you're paying for things that you've already eaten, and then it's like a layaway on food. That seems a little wild.
Yeah,
that company is everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think people know that. You can't do that on DoorDash. I feel like DoorDash is like the next company that's gonna do that. They're gonna do one of those things where you could break down your food payments into like 4, and that it will get really worse.
That's cringy. That's just my opinion, though. Some people might need
crazy.
that, but if you're breaking down, if you're paying for something that you ate 4 weeks ago, like 4 weeks later, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're doing that, bro, like you can't afford the service, bro. What do you expect the tip to be? You know what I mean? So I did not know that. I actually went into the app to look at that, so that was kind of funny for me. And that's why it is wild, and that's why I was like, oh damn, well that's why Instacart is kind of trash right now. But that's pretty much what I had to say. Pedro, real quick, that trade was trash.
Listen, man, you're gonna listen. Come check out me and Hannibal tomorrow because me and my boy Hannibal gonna get into that. I got some opinions on that. That's
so listen real quick, before you guys continue, watch the Pedro and Hannibal podcast, man. Please, bro, that is hilarious.
You know, that was the first time in the history of the NBA that a player that averages 25, 5, and 5 has been traded in the middle of the year. It's never happened before. Never in the history of the NBA. Somebody with that kind of stats switch teams. Never happened.
All right, before I go, didn't that give you the Rajon Rondo vibes?
Oh, nah, because Kyrie's better than Rondo.
Yeah, but Rondo was at his height, though.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about that. I'll have to
a little bit like that.
I'll give you a better opinion on that tomorrow night.
Yeah, please. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Chris, any final thoughts, Chris?
Well, I just wanted to thank you for changing your attitude for 2023 and giving a positive vibe, because there's a lot of people out there that if they're new like that lady was, and she just opened up the app and started watching videos about DoorDash is trash, it makes it real hard because the lady's out there trying to make money for her kids and her family and everything, and she might be struggling real hard, and she might just come across your video because it's the top rated video of the week, and she listens to either a negative or a positive, and struggling like he was saying in this time period, everybody's struggling. But I have to give you kudos for having a positive attitude and helping people out here that we all have to grind it day to day, and each one of us do it our own way. And I just wanted to give you a positive for this week.
No, I appreciate that, Chris. I'm always going to be like, I'm going to give the information how I see it, but I think that if we go into everything thinking it's going to, the outcome's going to be bad, the outcome will probably be bad, right? If I go, like, I played a lot of basketball growing up, right? And there are days where I was like, man, I'm at the free throw line. I don't have no confidence that I'm going to make this shot. I'm probably not going to make the shot, right? But if I go out with a little more positivity and I adapt my training, I adapt my strategies, I go and shoot an extra 100 free throws the day before to make sure I'm ready, then you're going to have a better outcome. So yeah, I'm really like tired of like all the negative stuff. Like if it's not hitting for you, you got to take personal responsibility and figure out how you're going to adapt. But like, I see too much crying, and I've done too much crying, and I'm not doing it anymore because it doesn't serve anybody any good. It just pacifies. And I'm going to continue my best to continue to try to be real, but like be positive and show people results. And I think that's going to serve a better good, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but for me, so far, I'm off to a really good year. So I don't think that's a coincidence. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
One last thing before I go. Yeah. You know how you used to have you brought in people from the management from Papa John's and stuff to give their, maybe maybe once a month bring in a guest speaker from restaurants and give their perspective on how it works, because maybe a McDonald's employee that has to stand behind the counter and deal with it, maybe have their perspective, because there's new people that just show up and they don't have a bag, they don't have nothing, they're just standing there staring at the customer or at the clerk at the counter. You know, give them some helpful tips from the people behind the counter, and have an open discussion, and let them people, you know, hey, you know, have a dialogue between the worker at the restaurant and the worker out there in the DoorDash community. That would be a good thing, I think.
That's it, and I think that would be some really valuable information and some good content, because getting the restaurant perspective is, we need a little bit more of that, because we just get so like into our own heads, like, hey, I'm the dasher, I just need this, I need this, I need this, but there's another cog in that machine, and we need them to, you know, do certain things and know what we go through. We need to go what they go through. We need to know what they go through. So I think that's a great.
Well, even if we had some tips and tricks from their perspective, how can we speed up the process to get in there, get the food, and get out, and so they're free to do what they got to do with other customers that are actually there for service. So
yeah,
that
good point.
That would be a good couple videos to make.
Random Ryan, any final thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna turn into Roy or something.
Real talk with Roy?
Yeah.
Go ahead, give it to me, man. Go ahead, brother.
No,
all opinions are welcome here, man.
Why is everybody dogging on Instacart, man? I just, you know, like everybody says, market specific, okay?
Yeah.
But it's also not. No offense to anybody, but it's also not being a dummy. You know, just because you see a $2.50 DoorDash, it's the same as a $7 Instacart, and nothing's better or worse. It's just bad offers, right? Yeah. The difference with Instacart, though, and in a way it's bad too, is that you have many options to look over instead of just one ping to your phone every time that other people might be getting better offers as you waste your time. The bad thing with that, of course, with Instacart is everybody's seeing the same offers unless you're Diamond Cart. And yes, Diamond Cart matters. I've proven it. Everybody's.
See, I haven't done enough Instacart to know if it matters or not. You know, but I will say, the month and a half I did no DoorDash and I did Instacart and Uber. Like I liked Instacart for the way that I was able to actually service less guests but make the same money, and my miles were a little bit lower, but like some of the frustration, there's more steps. You know, you're actually like, you're working a lot more with Instacart than you are DoorDash.
Well, and the thing too is you have to be patient, and a lot of people aren't. They think that if they sit for 15 minutes, they're losing money. When you're not in a good market. Really, you're not, because if you wait 15 minutes for a good offer, I waited almost an hour one time without an offer. I do work in the cards, other things, and I got it was $125 offer. It was just a bunch of sodas and stuff. 25 stories up to the office building, but I have a cart. Took an hour to do.
I'll do that all day for $125.
Yeah, it took an hour, and it was $125. Yeah, I waited an hour, but that's still a good hourly for 2 hours. Yeah. And so just like DoorDash, and everybody has their tips and tricks and blah blah blah. You know, there's Instacart guys out there and stuff, but nobody cares to like do the research or look at those videos. Everybody wants DoorDash is the big hot thing. Nobody actually takes the time to look at Instacart in certain markets, and all they see, like, I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out right here. Right Chair Rodeo, Steve. Him and I go back and forth all the time.
He hates Instacart. He hates Instacart.
I know.
It's so bad.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like with any argument with anybody. If you just stick to one side and you always show bad, but you never show the good, it doesn't mean the good's not there. You're just not showing it. Like, you're not focusing on that. You know, if you're showing all the good, like a lot of YouTubers do and stuff, you're not showing all the bad. It's very specific to what you're willing to share, what you're doing, what your experience is. And the Diamond Cart, like I said, it mattered. I didn't think it was going to matter, honestly.
I didn't think it was either when it came out back. I think it was in the fall or something. I remember seeing they had diamond, platinum, gold. And like, I didn't think it mattered either, but I hadn't done enough of it to actually have the information to have a valid opinion. But
so you do have to do a lot of deliveries. It's like 200 deliveries in 3 months, and then you qualify for the next 3 months, and then it's a 3-month rotating period every quarter or so. But the two things that matters the most, actually, and one of them's not that big, is especially with Costco orders, you get orders before the store even opens. So there's a lot of times you'll see guys there before they open, and you're wondering, what the hell's happened? Why am I not getting orders? Well, now I know why. I started getting the banger orders right when they open, And in my market, at least in Austin, Texas, they're pretty good in the morning, especially with businesses. Businesses like to order a lot of food and snacks for their offices. After that, it slows down here and there, and then you never know. But at the open at these stores, it's the best time. And then also, when you're Diamond, you get discounts on gas through Upside or Up or whatever it is now, and you get extra money off the gas as well, and you get extra perks with insurance, things like that. So that's a little extra incentive. But this Instacart, man, I'm just telling. I need to make a video or two and just show it because
you should do it, man. You should do it.
Don't get me wrong. I see it all the time here in Austin. There was I don't know if you heard, but the weather down here in Texas was really bad and shut down stores, bad power lines down, all that. And literally the day of or day after, people were seeing $7 or $8 for 100 items, 5 miles. It was like, that is trash. Who is going to do that?
It's crazy.
We're not even going to find the stuff in the stores anyway because everybody's hoarding, milk, water, all that stuff. And yeah, that's bad. I'm not saying there isn't. It's a lot of trash out there, but it's not all trash.
Well, I think there's trash on every app.
Yes.
Right. We talk about DoorDash more because they have the most market share and the most drivers and millions. So it's like we talk, but Instacart has trash, Uber has trash, Grubhub has trash, Spark has trash.
Yes, and I, like you said with the negativity and stuff. Unfortunately, that's what gets views on TikTok and shorts and all that.
It does.
People want to see the $7 orders for 100 items. They are amused by it. That's all that stuff. But or bangers, nowhere in between. Like today, I only did one order today just because it was easy. 18 items, Walgreens, 2 miles to a retirement home. $38.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's not common, but I'm just on my phone like, oh yeah, I'll take that. My girlfriend had to wait 5 minutes for coffee.
I mean, I think I think the negativity does sell, and but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna brag for a minute. I don't care. Don't give a fuck. Listen, I was pretty positive in January, and I had the most views out of any gig tuber the entire month of January, and I was positive. I have over 1.4 million views. Nobody else. I'm number one out of all the other channels. Nobody had as many views as me, and I was positive this month. So that is my challenge to some of you gig content creators. Can you show some positive shit, or are you going to continue to cry and say the world's coming to an end? Because I have the most views the entire month. So that's my challenge. Some of y'all ain't going to like I said that, but that is a fact. You can fact check me. So listen, it's about your mindset. If you're going to go into things negative, you're going to probably get negative results. So, and
it's not just being about positive; it's about motivating. That I think is a big deal.
I think you're right, and I'm gonna continue to. We have to turn the tide a little bit. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but the proof is in the pudding. I had a really good month in a lot of different avenues, and I showed that. So let's see. I want some other people to try to. Let's make some content that actually helps people versus just making people feel like crap about the app that they're using. That's just my challenge to the content creators that might be watching this. So
I give you a lot of props too, because that's the difference between you and a lot of others. It's for a lot of gig tubers out there, not everybody. It's more about entertainment and views, which are great. And
we need that
follow,
too. We need that
follow people around, ride alongs, all that. But it's always good to have more motivation, more value to add and stuff. And that's why I think you've done well. And I appreciate you, man. And keep on the good work.
I'm trying, man. It's not always easy, but
and do some more Instacart.
And maybe we'll see. Let's get the final word to Vic the Kid. What else you got on your mind, Vic?
Oh, well, before I go, I just wanted to say, hey, I also appreciate your content. When I was first starting, I was watching you as well, and you gave me good ideas, and I just adapted through my market, and you've been honestly pretty awesome, man. Like all the ideas that you brought out there. But I just real quick with luxury, I know I've heard, with debate, it's like, well, it depends on whether the driver's good, whether they give 100%, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
When with anything, but especially with luxury, when you start having to oversimplify luxury, that's when the line gets blurred and people don't know, either they don't know what they're talking about or they just get confused. Because if you notice, everybody has like a different opinion, or a lot of people have a different opinion on what luxury is.
Yep.
Keep it short and simple. Something you can't do every single day. All right. That's all I would say. I've had orders where, they've been bad. I didn't get my sauce or I didn't get a meal, and I contact DoorDash and they'll tell me, well, you're SOL. We're not giving you credit for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
It sucks, but at the end of the day, that's the risk you take with a luxury service. This is a risk. There's nothing on DoorDash that says 100% guaranteed or your money back.
Right. Yeah. There's no money back guarantee.
Right. There's no money back guarantee. So I don't know why people are tripping when, they order a shake and it's melted or something. And they're like, well, this isn't luxury service. It was a horrible driver. He made it melt or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a luxury service because you got it in the first place.
So I want you. So do you know who Hannibal is Hungry is? Yeah. Do you know that channel? Okay. So watch his video. I think he drops it tomorrow. Watch it. Make sure you give him your opinion on his perspective. I think it's going to be I know it's going to be a good video, whether we agree with his spin on it or not. I definitely want you guys to go check it out and, leave him a comment on what you think, how that video goes, because I know he's saying it's not one. So, I think it's going to be interesting. I think the comment section will be buzzing a little bit. So, and I wanted to ask Vic the kid. So what market are you in, if you want to share that with us? I don't know if I've asked you that before, if you mentioned it.
So I'm actually in northern Indiana in the Midwest.
Okay.
So this is a college town over here, Notre Dame.
Yep.
So there's like South Bend, Mishawaka, Elkhart, Osceola. So I know a lot of people don't have what I have because I can adapt and make $300 in a day, easy. But I know a lot of people can't do that, but you just have to learn your market. It's all about learning your market. There are times even in my market to where I'll still have a bad time and I could go to another app and there's apps where you could work at like Myers for a couple hours and do like some overnight stuff. And like that's what I mean. Like people are lazy. They don't want to.
Listen, I said it the other day. I said back in the day, when a lot of us came, I think you said you started in the pandemic or whatever, right? Or you were working during that time. Like a lot of us came to these apps during that time for whatever reason, right? The money was coming to us then, right? Those days are done. We have to adapt and we have to go to the money now. We actually have to work a little bit and think a little bit, right? It was easy a couple years ago. Turn an app on, boom, every order is $8. Great. La, it feels great. I feel good. But right now we got to go attack the money. Find out, like Vic's saying, find out what app is good and how do I adapt. I got to do this Meyer thing, and then maybe I can come back to DoorDash, and maybe I can do Instacart. Like we have to go after the money. The money ain't coming to us anymore, guys. Those times for most of us are dead. We have to be proactive, and I'm not saying a lot of us are lazy, but some of us are lazy. I agree with that. Yeah.
Because I know with Ryan too. I know what he's talking about with Costco. Because during the pandemic in my area, there's a rich area over in Granger, and boy, do they love Costco during the pandemic. I saw $80 orders, $6 orders, $150 orders, $200 orders. After the pandemic, that stuff was gone. Okay, which is understandable. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you just do nothing. You can't just do nothing and expect the same. It's insanity. Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That's insane.
I agree.
I
agree.
You have to adapt.
Yeah,
you just
I
have
agree
to.
100%.
Those orders are still there in the right market, and if you're especially downtown, I like Pedro. I don't know if St. Louis are done high rises, but if you're in Instacart in the morning and stuff at a good business area, there's a lot of orders that pay well. I'm not sure about every market, but here in Austin, that's where the money is. It's during the week, right when they open businesses. I mean,
4 or 5 o'clock.
No.
You're talking like, so in St. Louis, for me, it's like Costco drop at 10 a.m. So I would position myself at about 9:45. And sometimes that's worked for me. Sometimes it hasn't. I just haven't done enough. I haven't done enough deliveries on Instacart like I have with DoorDash. DoorDash, I know how it works. It's, I know where to be. I'm adapting now. It's a little different. But with Costco, I haven't learned it enough.
But here's the crazy thing.
I haven't done enough.
On Costco, at least where I'm at, they open 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. And on Saturday, I get orders up to half an hour before they even open, even a little before that. So on the regular days, it's just before 10 a.m. But on Saturdays, I guess they're busier or more orders. It's more than a half hour ahead of time with Diamond Card at least.
I'm spoiled. I don't work
So
Saturdays. I don't do Saturdays, bro.
Honestly, I rarely do too. He was talking about how people are lazy. I am lazy. I'm very lazy. I only go to Costco and I write in my car and I just take the good orders for 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm done. And
at least you can admit it. At least you can admit
yeah.
it.
No, and it's funny because then I'll order luxury services to get delivered to me. And people are like, what's the deal? I'm like, well, see, the difference is when I go do my own shopping and stuff, I don't get paid for that. But other people are paying me to do theirs, you know? So it's kind of messed up the way of thinking, but it's similar. I'm too lazy to shop for myself.
Yeah.
But I'm willing.
It's ironic. It's ironic.
But I'm willing to shop for others because I get paid.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Look, if you want to be lazy, that's cool. It seriously is. There is nothing wrong with being lazy, but just understand you are. And if you're willing to be lazy, someone's willing to make money off that.
Yeah. And see,
understand that.
And like you were saying, I can afford that luxury too because I do something else on the side, which is my main source of income. I do this to get exercise, fresh air, extra money. And I will say, like, it astounds me, people here in Texas at least, how lazy they are. Because right now we have trees that were destroyed from the winter storm. There's trees everywhere, and cleanup is happening. People are doing $500 to remove trees. Takes 2 hours. $500. Chainsaw, truck, take it out. And people don't want to do that work on their own or whatnot. Like for $500 and 2 hours, I mean, people are paying out the butt just to have trees removed from the property. And they're not even small. They're not even big trees. They're small trees.
No, those tree trimming companies, those guys that have those, they're killing it right now in your market.
They are. And it's not that much work. It's just people don't want to do the work.
Well,
So,
you do have to have the equipment. You got to have you got to have the equipment. You got to be willing to work a little bit and sweat. But a lot of people don't want to do that.
They had chainsaws at Home Depot and all that easy you can get. And it's funny you say that because a lot of people bought chainsaws and there was a line today to return them after they used them. And they denied them though. It said no returns. So
you can't do that.
No.
Listen, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys, the banter, the conversation, the laughter, the opinions. Chris, Vic the Kid, Random Ryan, appreciate you guys very much. Have a good rest of your night, and I hope you guys have a great week coming up.
Okay, have a good one.
Appreciate it.
All right. So great combo there. Love it, love it, love it. You never know. These conversations just happen. Appreciate the chat. I think you guys are always having good conversations amongst yourselves in the chat. If you're getting value from this content, consider hitting the thumbs up. Consider subscribing. I do make videos every single day. As Uber Lyft Phoenix mentioned, he said I had all the most views because I make videos every day. That is true, but that's not the reason why. I'll say that because a lot of other people make videos every day. I think, I think when you manifest things, when you work hard, I don't have a big brain. I got a little brain, guys, but I work hard and I'm willing to make mistakes. I'm willing to be myself. I'm willing to adapt. I'm willing to admit my faults. I'm willing to look at things from a different perspective from time to time and put my pride and ego to the side this month and say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I don't think it's a coincidence. And I'm not talking just the gig apps. I'm talking a lot of other things have been going really well for me. And I need to share that with you guys because when I started this channel, I talked about I share my day with you guys, right? I turn the apps on. I share my day. I try to give tips and tricks, relatability. You might see me lose my shit every once in a while. You might see me have a great day, a bad day. If I'm going on a cruise, I'm going to share my day. If I'm off today, I'm going to share my day. I'm going to do a live. I'm going to do a Wednesday motivation. I'm just sharing my day. And I'm showing you guys, and some people are going to really hate this. And I get so happy at the haters because I know they don't like it. All I do is I bet on you set goes one day at a time. I've literally have done that for almost 2 years. Next month, in 6 weeks, I'll be on YouTube for 2 years showing you guys how I have done this. That's all I've done with this channel. That's it. I've used the gig economy as a stepping stone of a way to make passive income and do other things. I feel like I've done that like nobody else in this space. And that's why we've had a little bit of success. That's why you guys keep watching, because I'm practicing what I'm preaching. And while I'll do make negative videos sometimes, because the reality is work, okay? It's not always going to be great. It's not always lollipops, rainbows, unicorns, butterflies, hearts, and all that crap, right? It sucks sometimes. That's any job. Okay. Unless you're doing your absolute passion. Okay. And even then, it could be struggles. So we're going to have that. But your mindset and how you attack the day when you wake up and how you start the day and how you feel and how you set up your plan, how you manage your time, how you interact with businesses you're doing business with, how you interact with the regular people, your customers, your family, your friends, what you give other people, that's what you're going to get back. I really believe that. And if anything, I guarantee this February is going to be another great month. March is going to be another great month. And when I have failures, when I don't have good things, you're going to see them. But I'm done living in that space for too long. Right? I'm done making a 30-minute video that's all negative. I'm just done doing it. It doesn't serve anybody any good. It doesn't serve me good. It doesn't serve my family good. And me handing you a pacifier and patting you on the back saying, I know it sucks. I know it sucks. It doesn't do you any good. I'm going to continue to show you what you can do with these apps, whatever apps you work. I'm going to continue to show you what this means. Okay. And I will allow all the other people to make all those videos that are negative and whatever else. I just can't do it. I cannot live like that anymore. It's too stressful. It's not good. It's time to level up in 2023. If you want to come along for the ride, jump in the pool. It's warm. If you want to watch other people, that pool is super cold. It doesn't feel good. That's what I would say to that. I know a lot of people aren't going to like that, and I'm okay with it. We need what we've been doing in the last couple of years overall hasn't gotten us any further as gig drivers. It just hasn't. We're in the same place talking and complaining about the same stuff, and it hasn't served us any good. It's time to adapt, change, evolve. And most of us, the gig economy, you might have to realize, for some of us, maybe not most, it might not be for you. This isn't for everybody, and that's okay. You have to come to that realization when you come to it. Look at your numbers. If you're not making money, you're not beating your goals, if you're not making real profit, you might need to either adapt, turn off an app, get a W-2. You got to do what you got to do. But sitting in our cars and wishing and praying and complaining and all that, it's not going to do you any good. You're wasting time. And I think I wasted some time this past year and a half, a little bit, not a lot, because we've had mostly success, but I've definitely could probably be even in a better spot if I would have tweaked a few things a little bit earlier. And when I started this channel, when I started the Bet on You, when I started doing the gig economy full time, betting on myself, seeing what I could make of it, trying out YouTube, trying out other things, vending machines. When I started doing that, things started clicking for me. So for you, it might be, hey, I need to maybe DoorDash is not great in my market. Instacart's not good. I'm not making good money. Consumers aren't willing to really pay me. The gig apps ain't paying me. I might need to try this, go to school, try W-2, try my own side hustle, bet on myself, whatever that is for you. There has to come a point when you do that. Because for most of us, I do believe this is not a sustainable, scalable way to make money for most of us. And even for what I call the 1%ers, the full timers that can do this and can do it for more than a year, or maybe you're on your 5th year, your 6th year, your 7th year, you are not the normal driver. That's not normal. I applaud you and I salute, but that's not normal, right? I'm speaking to the ones that are kind of new coming in and all that. And even then, you're going to have to adapt because the apps will change. People will always want this convenience, whether it's luxury or not, but you will have to adapt. Right. And even the 1%ers, they're adapting from 2 years ago. It's different. If you were doing Instacart 2 years ago, you're probably making more money and it was easier and the batches were better. The tips were better. Right now, you might still be doing Instacart, but maybe you folded in another app, Shipped, Spark, Walmart, and you adapt. And that's what we do. We're hustlers. We're grinders. Keep adapting. Keep, sometimes some of us, we got to put the pride and the ego to the side. I include myself in that. When you can do that, it can change some things, man. It can change some things. Anyways, let me read some comments before we hop out of here. We're almost at the 3-hour mark. This is meant for a small percent of drivers, regardless of what the apps tell you. I believe that. I do. Have to be willing to learn every day. Vaughn, I agree. Change, adapt, build, facts. The Destin Driver. What up? What up? How you doing, bro? We're gonna connect. Don't worry. Well, not that you worry. We're gonna connect. I got your Instagram. Yeah. Listen. I think for me, when I got into 2023, I knew exactly what my goals were. I posted them on my community post. I think right after Christmas or right before the new year or right after the new year. I can't remember. The community post is there. These are my goals. And I was very transparent with you guys. This is what I want to accomplish this year. And I will accomplish all those things. I will. Some will be different measures of how great I accomplish it, or maybe I accomplish it just a little. All of them are going to happen. Right. And I shared that with everybody because that's how I hold myself accountable. Because I know many of you guys might ask me about this, about that. And some things are going to happen quicker than I like or slower than I like, or there's going to be bumps in the road. But like when I went into 2023, like the 2022 has got that was a great year. We did a lot of great things, but like I can't continue to grow as a man, as a father, as a son, as a driver, if I'm just going to keep doing the same shit and expect a different result. DoorDash has changed. The economy's changed. The world around us is changing. Okay. Things are changing. You have to adapt. If you think you're going to do the same thing, it's going to be hard for you. So for me, my focus is I need to share that message with you guys. I'll let everybody else make videos about the same stuff. Listen, and I say that it's ironic. I make videos every day and a lot of them are very repetitive, but I'm just showing you my day. Like I said, I'll let everybody else make the videos about how everything sucks. Everything's the worst. You can't make money. Get out of it now. Shock and awe, scare, just to get a click in a view or just to be whatever. I'm going to make my completely different lane. Okay. And I'm going to show you and show you guys content that's completely different than most people. And I think that's why we're doing what we're doing on this channel. And I think that's a big reason why you guys are still rocking with me and we're continuing to grow at the pace that we are, because it is very different than everybody else. It's similar, but we're in our own different lane. I'm not a DoorDash sellout. I don't have a partnership with DoorDash, but I'm also not somebody that is just going to make every video bashing the company, but I still go and turn the app on. That is a clown. That you can't do that. That's clown activities. Stand on something. I'm going to stand on myself. Bet on you, Seckles, one day at a time. And if you guys are rocking with me, keep watching. If you want the negativity, you guys can go to the other pool. I can't play in that pool anymore. We're past that. See you next week.